What up, sports fans all over the world? It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan. I'm here with my guys, the Horsemen, Zion Zenith, Adam Costas, and y'all know the one, the only NYG Jeffy T standing right here in the corner, shining that light ever so brightly. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go!
Yo. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another Friday night. Thank you so much, Mac, for that amazing intro, like always. Man, boy, do we have a show for you guys, because the next time we guys talk to you guys, we guys, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. The draft is so soon. Days away. What's up, Daniel? The next time we're talking to you guys, the Giants would have selected, their first overall pick. Who knows? They might trade back into the first round. We never know what could happen. But before we get into the main topic of the show, that is going to be a lot of draft coverage concerning the NFL as a whole, but most likely zeroing in on the team that we all love, the New York Giants. But before we get to that topics, we have a few topics to get to. The play-in tournament is going on right now. As you see, I might be distracted throughout the show because the Miami Heat is trying to fight for the eight spot into the tournament.
They're not fighting. They're kicking Chicago's ass, Zion. Kicking Chicago's ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Trying to fight. Give me a break.
Be realistic.
How about like 20 fucking fire points? How about like 25, bro? Come on.
They're cruising.
They're cruising to the 8th seed, but I gotta, I should be cocky, but after what happened last game with us losing Jimmy and the 76ers, but the 76ers was a much better team. So yes, like Max said, we are cruising to a victory, and hopefully we can hold, and I think we will. But I just wanted to touch on the games that happened this past week. I know I'm the current.
Fucking blow that lead. You guys don't deserve to be anywhere near the playoffs. Jesus.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. I just want to talk about the games that happened this past week. You know what I'm saying? We had the, end of a dynasty. So being that I'm the current NBA fan, RIP to Jeff. You know what I'm saying? He loved the NBA. But being that I'm the current NBA fan, that mostly follow it throughout the year. I do want to touch on certain, some of these games, and I do want to ask some of these old heads, excuse my language there, but some of these, I don't watch the NBA because it's not physical no more. What their thoughts on a couple of these games? You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just joking. That being said, though, we had the Kings, come out, turn up, everything was moving in that game. You know what I'm saying? And they go and they upset, the dynasty that was Draymond Green, that was Stephen Curry, that was Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson totally shut the bed in this one. You know what I'm saying? He put up 10 shots. He didn't hit on anything. Draymond Green, kind of let his attitude get ahead of himself. And Stephen Curry was trying, but at the end of the day, he can't do it by himself. I love the roster that they have going for the future. For the future of Golden State. But when you talk about the big three, the dynasty that has won 4 championships, it seems that they're in their end. This was probably the last game of all 3 of them being together. So before we get to the earlier game with Zion versus LeBron, I do want to ask the boys, what did the Warriors kind of mean to this future, this nowadays NBA, what they was able to accomplish, and what you guys thoughts on the dynasty, the big 3 coming to the end with Steph, Klay, and Green, because Klay Thompson is probably going to be looking for another contract elsewhere, because I don't think Golden State is going to pick him up, and if they do pick him up, it's going to be on the damn cheap, because he's not the Klay Thompson as old. But that being said, I'm going to open up the mic to you guys. I'm going to let Matt go first, Adam go second. Once you guys touch on this game, we'll move on to that Lakers versus Pelicans matchup.
It was fun while it lasted, but all good things come to an end. I mean, it just is what it is. After a while, Jordan stopped winning titles too. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. it's not going to go on forever, man. Everybody else is going to keep trying to do what they got to do to catch up, and the league finally caught up. It took a little while, but the league did finally catch up. But they had a nice dominant run. They definitely, controlled some things, especially out west and in the whole damn NBA for quite some years, man. But it's time to shake some things up. It's time to make some changes, and it's time for them to reload and fire. How are they going to do it? I mean, like you said, Klay Thompson ain't the same guy he used to be, man. They're no longer the Splash Brothers. They're more like the, I don't even know what to call them anymore. It's just not. It don't hit the same no more. But we'll see what they do. I'm pretty sure Steph Curry somehow he'll probably stick around, and they'll try to maybe build something else around him, and maybe try to make another run. But we'll see where they go from here, man. But I mean, it's just end of an era, It's just guys get older, start getting beat up a little bit, and things just ain't quite the same, man. People get more tape they get on you. People start figuring out ways to slow you down and stop you. So yeah, it was fun. The Warriors, they were dominant. Like I said, they did their thing. They were definitely our modern day dynasty here in the NBA, but it's definitely clearly over with the Kings putting them out of their misery the other night. And the Warriors will not even have a chance to compete for a title this year. So, say la vie, man. It is what it is. Big men need to bang in the paint, by the way. That's what my problem with the NBA is. I want to see these big. I hate seeing these big 7-foot motherfuckers standing out behind the 3-point line trying to hit J's and shit. Get in the goddamn paint and bang. Nobody got good post-up moves no more. They don't even exist. This shit's crazy, man. It's just ridiculous. The NBA, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at a bunch of finesse fucking players. I want to see the old school Bill Lambert and Charles and Charles Oakley type guys, intimidators in the paint, enforcers. You don't have that no more in this league, man. So it's just, I don't know. It just is what it is. I just don't get much joy in watching it anymore. So, but peace out, Warriors, man. I'm sure y'all figure it out.
Absolutely. Deuces to the Warriors. You guys won a lot. We can't, let someone else, man. Go right ahead, Adam.
I think the interesting part about this team is that they were a dynasty, right? It's not my brand of basketball. I grew up with Jordan, Kobe, wing players, a little bit more physicality in the paint, a little bit more triangle offense, a little bit more sophistication to the game, right? But the Splash Brothers, as I like to call, kind of ushered in an era, which I think they're going to start to slowly go back to. But they ushered in a new era of the three-point era. If you were to put this era of time frame on the basketball, it'd be the three-point era, right? Because Steph Curry, a guy like him, and Mac knows, would not survive in the 90s, the 80s, when they were actually physical and could take you out. Like a guy like Steph Curry, Bill Lambert would have put an elbow in his chest and say, take that three-point shot again and see what happens to you. Charles Oakley would have made that kid hit the floor and made him think twice about coming down the lane. But because we have the three-point era, right, where everything's open now, they did their thing. Guys like Steph Curry never really won championships. They weren't the focal point of offenses. They were bit players. You bring in the Steve Kerr of the world. He comes in off the bench, shoots a three, right? Steph Curry, while he does a lot of things, he's not very good defensively. He's not a huge defensive player. He's not like, oh, let me go shut you down like a Scottie Pippen or anything like that. But for what the era of basketball, the time that they're in, they are a modern-day dynasty. And you have to salute that. Like Max said, all good things come to an end. And I think, it's the end of an era. Remember, the Golden State Warriors, you got to give them credit. Okay? And if people know me, they know I've been watching the Warriors since they had Jason Richardson on their team, Latrell Sprewell, those guys. Like they were in the doldrums of things, like they used to have a decent team. They had Sprewell, they had Chris Mullin, they had a decent team, back in the day. But they never won anything because the Lakers were in the way, other teams were in the way. And then there was a time where they were the laughing stock of the league. And it wasn't until they got Jason Richardson, Baron Davis, and guys, and they started to win a couple playoff games. Monte Ellis, people forget about him. He came in. Steph Curry kind of got his sea legs about him, when he got in. And then for the last 14 years, they kind of, changed it up where they really kind of made the game what it is now, a game that me and Mac used to love. It's like the NFL, right? The NFL used to be smash mouth, hard-hitting football and things like that where you actually could love the game, and now it's a track meet, just like basketball is. And it's a team, and then the funniest part is in the NBA, like in the NFL, defense ends up winning you the championship down the road. So they had a good team, they had a good run. I don't know where Steve Kerr will go. Steve Kerr obviously will go in the Hall of Fame as a coach, 5 titles.
Well, he's off to the Olympics right now,
So
the UFC. So shout out to him. But continue.
Yeah, well, when you're not in the playoffs, you get to go to the Olympics. So that's a consolation prize. Here
Absolutely.
you go. But I'm enjoying it. It's sad to see greatness leave because it's the end of an era, and it's time for somebody else to get their turn.
Absolutely, and I thank you, Mac and Adam, both of you guys, and Adam right there, always coming with that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So yes, they may not
too analytical for
watch. They may not watch this day and age as much as me and maybe some of the younger guys in the chat. But at the end of the day, they always come with that knowledge. Shout out to Tudo. Massive salutes to you too. Always tuning in, always showing love on Friday night. So thank you so much for being here. We had Namir pop in too. So thank you, Namir, for pulling up as well. We had Raphael in the building as well too. So talking about old heads and talking about physical, I loved seeing that out of the first game. We're gonna move on with NBA after this topic. But that being said, guys, I do want to say this real fast. The physicality we've seen out of LeBron James at his age, in that game against the Pelicans, was absolutely fun to watch. You see him out there and, his gray beard, still trying to get physical with a more physical Zion that is just entering, in his prime, becoming himself, starting to get his man body, kind of like Giannis did. You know what I'm saying? We kind of see Zion out there being more physical, out there, like you guys said, yes, they have McCollum. Yes, they have Ingram coming off injury, but, they have other people that can shoot threes. When you think about the Pelicans, there's a team that is going to feed Zion, and Zion's going to drive up into the paint and try to dunk it in the hoop. And no matter who you are, get the fuck out of the way. Okay? But LeBron James being LeBron James and his ego, having a fucking night himself, you know what I'm saying? Staying in there, trying to take it, trying to be physical as Zion. But at the end of the day, the Lakers did win. That's a debate for another day because that Jordan and that LeBron debate is still gonna be fired. That's why to end that debate, I like to say Jordan is the best of his generation and LeBron is the best from his generation. But GOAT James, absolutely GOAT Jordan as well. But that being said, Zion did get hurt at the end of the game, and it was really sad to see because when you have this young up and coming in Zion, the big time prospect out of Duke, finally coming into himself and taking on King James, it was fun to see. And then for the last 2 minutes, this guy goes and gets hurt and walks to the locker room, and the Lakers come out and win the game. And it's just sad the way the game ended. But I'm just happy that we see LeBron James still fighting, obviously, to get rewarded with playing the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good point, no man. That's a good point. I'm talking about him and Brady, and to that point, LeBron James did. We're not gonna start a debate here because I know how my co-host Adam feels about Jordan, and I don't want to take too much time on this subject. But I will say that LeBron James did come into the league with some old heads and did outlive some generations as well. But we digress. That being said, guys, we are gonna move on. We are gonna touch on a few things before we get into
just real quick. I want to hit him right quick with this. I might be a little biased, I might be a little bit biased in this decision, but Jalen Brunson, the things he's done with that New York Knicks basketball team, man, are pretty special. And I think he should definitely get strong consideration for the award at the very least, man. I mean, he's been doing some really special things. Made his first All-Star team this year, which is well-deserved. My guy, Jalen Brunson, man, big Villanova fan. I've been unfortunate. I really, like I said, I don't follow the NBA as much as I used to back in the day, but I know he's been doing some really special things for that New York Knicks basketball team. It's got them up there as number 2 seed in the East Coast, the Eastern Conference right now.
Welcome back, New York Knicks.
He's definitely been
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely been the leader of that, man. Villanova Knicks, man, they balling right now, man.
You know,
Texas gonna have their hands full. So
I knew when Thibodeau got hired, the Knicks were going to turn it around because he turns it around everywhere he goes. It took a little while for them to get their team, buy into a system, flirting with the playoffs, guys getting injured, but now they've got it. And now they've found the formula. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but Tom Thibodeau needs to get credit because he's a guy that when he came in, I was like, okay, James Dolan, now he's serious about basketball. Because, Thibodeau had that Chicago Bulls team in the finals with Derrick Rose. Okay. And he had some good teams with the Chicago Bulls for a while until they let him go. And then look at that Chicago Bulls team, never been the same since they let him go. And I think the Knicks getting Thibodeau, he made the playoffs. He's in a good spot. Who knows where they're going to go? Could this be the magical run we're talking about, where the Knicks, there's no Jordan on the Eastern Conference? Yes, there's guys over there. There's teams they're going to have to get through, but they have a ticket. And sometimes I look at it like this. This is the era in basketball where, and in any sport, where once you get to the dance and you've punched your ticket, now it's time to go dance. All right? Now it's time to go in there and get funky. Right? Don't worry. Like, look at the Green Bay Packers did. They almost upset, the 49ers. They had them on the ropes. Give it your best shot. You never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to be there again. So try to, if you're a Knicks fan, and I have to say my loyalties are with the Nets, and my friend, the angel above us, Jeff, is also with the Nets. He'd probably be saying, screw the Knicks, but he admires what they've done. And as a guy who grew up watching basketball in the tri-state area, the New York Knickerbockers were the thing in the mid-'90s. Okay, that's just who they were. Patrick Ewing, John Stark, and then of course when I was getting older, after they lost, those mid-years, and of course the O.J. Simpson thing happened during their finals run. But in the later 90s, when they had Sprewell and Houston and they made that run, I was there for that too, and I got to see that. And they haven't been really that good. They flirted with the playoffs, but this time they have a legit shot to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And being the 2 seed, what does that mean? You're better than, only one team's better than you. So, the way they play basketball, physical, the way Jalen Brunson's playing, he's playing old school basketball where he's a point guard but a scorer. He's a facilitator, as I like to call it. Think of Jason Kidd, that type of player where, he can score on you, but he can also dice you up with his assists and facilitating and getting people in the right position. People don't realize how critical that is in basketball these days. So I just wanted to bring that to light because we don't talk about Thibodeau as much as he should be, and he's a great basketball mind.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for transitioning this point so smoothly. We was gonna talk about the seedings and the teams, and I know it's early on, but we was gonna give our early predictions on the team that we think could win and all. But I'm gonna just do a little breakdown real fast because shout out to Brunson. Obviously I think Alex might win it, Alexander over in OKC. But ever since Randall went out, I remember watching that game, Miami versus Knicks. You know what I'm saying? And Miz was texting me, and all of a sudden, Randall goes down. And, what Brunson has been doing ever since Randall went down is putting the team on his damn back and carrying the Knicks to the number 2 seed. Just when you think that, they're in the playoffs already, and just when you think that, they're comfortable being the 5th seed, they're comfortable being the 4th seed, they win out, and then they get the number 2 seed. Just shout out to the Knicks, and the only team above them basically bought their team. I'm not trying to be mean, but the Celtics, they got, but
they choke every year.
Yeah, we had. I was just about to say we happened last year. We happened. The Miami Heat or them last year, right? And we happened, and then Celtics don't want that to happen.
Every year,
don't want that to happen. So they go and they buy their team. But continue, Adam. Adam wants to make a point real fast.
Oh my God, the Celtics are such a tease. Okay, every year they do this to you. They get in the playoffs. They look all good in the regular season. They get the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and then they don't do anything. They fizzle out. And it's like that's why if you're a Knicks fan, you have a chance because the moments for guys like Jason Tatum, sometimes they get too big and you can get in his head. And if he has a bad shooting night, it ruins his whole series. And if he doesn't score, like they can have Jaylen Brown score 40 points and lose, but if Tatum goes off for like 25, they're gonna win. Right? It's when he's having this bad shooting night, and he really needs to become the superstar that we hope he is, because they're building a team around him. They have two good guards. Okay, they should have a championship already under their belt. They don't. They've already switched coaches from Bradley Stevens to another guy. I forgot who they got rid of, and then they have this coach they have now. Right? So they've been all over the gamut. So I can't trust the Celtics in the playoffs. I just can't.
And honestly, they've been absolutely tearing up this whole season. They have to go against your point, but then I'm gonna come back and agree with you. They've been absolutely tearing it up this whole season, and I don't watch the whole season because that's insane. There's too much games, but I do dabble in time to time. I think it's gonna take a team, like a Miami Heat. Hopefully, Butler heals up. He's not gonna probably be active for the series, which sucks. But Tyler was one assist away from a triple-double tonight. We handled the Buffalo Bills. We handled the Chicago, which is not easy out, but it's not the Celtics. Okay, the Celtics are animals, but it's gonna take a team like the Miami Heat that can play defense and can frustrate the Celtics. Because if we show up and we play the defense like the Miami Heat has been playing all season long, yes, we've been plagued with injuries. Yes, but it's Miami Heat culture. We always make it tough. And look who popped up again. Player development. We have Jokic, I said his name so totally wrong, but a rookie showing up for us throughout the season. Showing up for us tonight without Jimmy Butler. We have another rookie, Jokic, and we don't have the roster to go against the Celtics. The Celtics is probably going to run right through us. But if we show up and play perfect defense throughout the series, we can make it tough for them, and we can take it down to the wire. And that's all I'm asking for is a chance. We do have a lot of teams in this playoffs. We did take about 20 minutes talking about basketball. I'm just gonna say the Bucks without Giannis, just without Damian Lillard, is kind of strapped. I say the Knicks, the Knicks and the Bucks is the teams that I'm looking at that could handle the Celtics if the Heat doesn't get it done. I think the Celtics wipe everybody and represent, but I'm gonna have to cheer for my Heat because I'm a Miami Heat fan. But if a gun to my head, I think the Celtics wipe everybody. But I'm gonna cheer for the Heat. I wanna cheer for the Knicks also. But outside of that, the Bucks without Giannis is not gonna get it done. I misspoke. So it's only the Knicks that I'm looking at. Unless the Cavaliers does something special in that conference. Looking at the other conference, I think the Nuggets and the Thunder. Obviously, LeBron James, congratulations. Your constellation prize is the Nuggets, and the Heat, congratulations. Your constellation prize is the Celtics. So that's really bad matchups for both teams, but I think the Heat match up good defensively. I know I'm all over the place here. I think the Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves, the Nuggets have a shot against the Thunder, but outside of that, that's the only three teams I'm really looking at. The Timberwolves, healthy, has been playing good basketball, but it's how healthy are they going to come in? Obviously this time to rest is effective, but really it's only the Nuggets that I'm looking at. So it's to me, honestly, guys, it's the Nuggets, the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Thunder, and then the Timberwolves and the Bucks as wild cards. But if it's up to me, the Miami Heat is going to revenge the Denver Nuggets in the finals. I'm just gonna call my shot because I'm a Heat fan. I get cocky this time of the year, and we prove it this time of the year too. But I'm gonna let the boys talk before we move on to the next subject. Go ahead, Matt.
The Miami Heat are like a bad rash. You just can't get rid of them. You know what I mean? Because you put them
That's true though.
Put some ointment on them, rub them, try to
we did it without Jimmy
go away for a few minutes, and then bang, they're back in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, look. Like I said, I don't really follow much anymore these days, but if you got the best player in the world, I think you always got a shot. And I don't care if they're a 7th seed or not out west. As long as LeBron James is running out that locker room for them, they always got a shot. The Lakers always going to have a chance, man. And so I just think that there's always, you got to watch out for a squad like that. I'm not underestimating Denver. I'm just saying, as long as you got the best player in the world, you always got a shot. I think Denver is definitely right up there at OKC as well, like Zion was saying. Those are probably the best couple of teams in the damn league right now, kind of. I mean, Knicks would be a great story. I don't think they're really going to make that run, but they're all the way to the finals.
Hear that, Knicks fans?
They'd be a great story, man. It would be because the playoffs is still something different. The playoffs is still, and they've been doing some really phenomenal things. But the playoffs, it gets grimy in the playoffs, man. And Sixers is going to be a good series with them in the Sixers.
Oh, Embiid
it's going to be a good series with them in the Sixers. But let's face it, the Sixers are probably right now kind of honestly a little more battle tested on that big stage right now, even though they've been kind of dropping the ball the last.
Are you rooting for the Sixers there, man?
As well. I'm not rooting for. I'm not rooting for any of them.
It sounds like you have
the Knicks would be a great story, man.
A way that you might be leading. Wow!
I'm just saying, this is one of those. It's a tough number 7 seed right there.
Take that, man.
The Sixers are playing pretty good basketball right now.
Take that.
Look. Like I said, I would love to see it, man. Knicks would be a great story, man. I mean, but hey, so with Orlando, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? These would be great stories. Right?
Nobody wants Orlando.
But I'm just saying. But
Orlando.
But realistically, I'm definitely more in that OKC, that Denver. Denver
Dame Dollar
trying to run it back, bring it back.
Dame Dollar.
I'm definitely. I don't know. I don't trust that team, man. I'm not trusting that team right now, man. But we'll see, man. Like I said,
the Celtics
Lakers with LeBron always got a shot.
The Celtics look like they should cruise to the championship. You and LeBron.
They should. LeBron. I'm just saying. The best player in the world is plays for the
Olympics.
And he's the best player in the world.
He is in the Olympics. He is stored in on the USA team.
Good. And in a few weeks he'll be able to travel there because the Denver. I'm going to counter your shit right now with your LeBron James, the other champ. Guess what? This is the Denver Nuggets, the reigning, defending champions. Okay, they know the Lakers are box office. Doesn't matter how bad they are. If they're the 8th seed, the 1 seed, the Lakers are box office. Guess what's happening? You're going to Denver. That team is going to be raucous. That crowd is going to be electric. That place is going to be rocking. And you know that that your legacy is built on teams like the Lakers. If we want the Joker to really be the Joker, he's got to come through in this series and really put it to the Lakers and say, listen, the Golden State Warriors, they're gone. I am the new king of the West. Okay, LeBron, you had your chance. Go get in your easy chair. Go sit back on your rocker, have some cigars, sip some cognac, and get out the league because it's my turn. That's what needs to happen. I think Denver is going to do it. I think they're going to put their foot on the Lakers' throat and really make them and embarrass them and say, listen, this is our house. Don't let the record fool you. We're tied with the Thunder. Okay, we should be the number 1 seed. Okay, we should be doing it, but we're not. Here we are, number 7. LeBron, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's what Joker is going to say to him as he's leaving Denver. Okay. Listen, man, LeBron James, and it's not hate. It's just LeBron James, man. Like I respect this game, but like I'm a fan of Jordan and Kobe, and I know for a fact.
That's my part of it, too. That's my part of it. How can you be a fan of Kobe? No offense to Kobe, you know. How can you be a fan of Kobe and not be a fan of LeBron?
Well, I was about to get there until you stopped me.
I apologize. I will say this before you finish your point, though. Jokic has proven that. I wouldn't say he is because I still put Giannis as number 1 right now. LeBron James is in a different category. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and KD, they're in a different category. I wouldn't call them old heads. I would just call them legends of the sport. But this new age,
hair plugs
this
are coming
new
out,
age,
man.
Giannis is still number 1 in my mind, but a lot of people have Jokic as number 1, and it is going to be LeBron James versus Jokic. I do feel, though, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they don't have the roster to compete with the Nuggets. I do slowly feel that. But they did last year. They did have a good game last year, the Nuggets versus the Lakers. The Lakers did have a good game against the Nuggets, but obviously they got swept, so how good was it? But we'll see what happens. Go right ahead, Adam. Finish your point.
Well, if Murray's playing, then it'll be a different story. Listen, Kobe was
legit, though.
Kobe, you don't get the name Black Mamba for being you know.
He is. Mets is right on that. LeBron is playing through generations. Like there's a player like
Yeah, but
I remember one highlight
you
when a
don't understand.
fantastic. Like you play
You
with
don't
my
understand.
dad.
You understand. The game of basketball is seen in a different lens. If you go watch the game, the USA team on Netflix, LeBron James goes. Kobe Bryant said, "I'm going to run through my man Paul Gasol," and they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to run straight through that motherfucker." First play of the game. That's what he said. I'm going to run straight through that motherfucker. And what did he do? The whistle blew.
Do have a chance.
Boom! He ran right through Paul Gasol, and LeBron James was like, "Yo, Kobe did that to his own teammate. We're going to win this thing." That's a tone setter, right? And LeBron James ain't running through his teammate. He ain't doing that.
But the young LeBron James will do it. That's
no,
what
he's not.
The Mamba,
no, he's not. I watched
game.
LeBron.
I'm not gonna defend LeBron James versus Mamba. I put Mamba in his own category. But like, yeah. But what I would say is, young LeBron, you have to understand too. Like, young LeBron came into a league in the early 2000s where it was still physical.
I was alive then.
You know, it was still physical back in the early 2000s, Adams. It's not until probably 2012-ish where the game became less physical. Yes, it's not the 80s. Yes, it's not the 90s.
The best I've seen LeBron was when he carried that Cavalier team in 07 to the finals.
Not only that.
That's the one time I will be like, yo, man, he played and he got outbeat. He could not do it because he didn't have the team on that team. And that Pistons team was a bunch of goons out there. And basically, you know, he was the only one out there doing stuff. But what I'm talking about is not what you're implying, okay? When the guy falls over and they have a thing called LeBroning because that's what he does and he flops, that's not happening. Kobe didn't do that. Kobe's not flopping. Jordan's the same way. The story about Jordan where he read about some guy in the paper in the Olympics. The guy was talking shit, and he's like, okay, bang. And next thing you know, he was dogging that guy. Kobe the same way.
I don't know. I agree to
was
disagree.
The same way.
I just think I just think I agree to disagree. I don't want to get into a debate here. But what I do say is I don't think you watch LeBron enough like throughout the years. Like I get it. You watch him when he's young, but there's so much highlight tape out there of him throughout the generation still handling himself at an elite level to younger players, to older players. This guy, yes, he may not make the playoffs every year, but at the end of the day, what you got to understand too, throughout the season, this guy is turning up against the next generation, like your Giannis's, like your Jokic's. So at the end of the day, if you can respect other players, if you can respect a player like Allen Iverson, if you can respect a player like Kobe Bryant, if you can respect a player like Magic Johnson, how can't you respect a player like LeBron James? At the end of the day, you have to have, maybe he's not your Jordan, and you have right to that. I mean, I respect that because Michael Jordan is one of one. Michael Jordan is him. Me as a LeBron fan is telling you that. But at the end of the day, you have to give somewhat respect to LeBron for what he has accomplished through the sport, and he carried the NBA before the Giannis's, before the Lucas, and before the Jokic's.
They had a lot of good players during his era. I mean, you know, LeBron James won titles. Yes, he wouldn't win titles till he left and went and got, you know, teammates. So I get it. I understand what you're saying. I've watched LeBron James in the story arc to who he is, but we sit here and we talk about Kobe Bryant as if, well, he's not as good because of this. No, you're not. If you're telling me that, then we're not. We're watching two different games, okay? Because Jordan did things that people couldn't do nowadays. They made a whole set of rules for Jordan called the Jordan rules because of how physical they were. But anyways, we're going down a rabbit hole we shouldn't go down.
Pick your teams, though. Who do you have representing? Sorry, I'll put it back up.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to split the difference because as a Net fan, I can't pick the Knicks. And as a New York area fan, I can't pick Boston. So I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Without Giannis?
Dollar sign. This is the Eastern Conference you're talking about, man. It's not like the West. This is not the West that he had to worry about. You know, you don't need to be, you know, world beaters.
We're gonna end that debate for another time. No, Mets. Don't stir the pot. Let's get it though. Thank you so much for joining us. You always hold it down in the comments. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, no, Mets. I don't know how old you are, but we can have this debate like we said back in the day. But I'm just going to pick my team. I know the Bucks are going to. Yeah. Like I said, I preface.
Tyler's going to handle them real quick. I'm sorry, Adam, but continue.
It's all right, man. You can say what you want, but let's see. This is what you got Dame Dollar for. You brought him
That's
here for
true.
this to carry this team. Giannis may not play, but you have if Dame Dollar lights it up, then why do you? I mean, hey, listen, I don't know, man. I'm just picking a team that's not New
That's
York
a
or
good pick,
Boston.
though.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Regardless.
Try to do. Okay, no Mets. You got a problem with it? You pick your team. Okay. Jeez, Christ.
Yeah, say your team, no Mets. You got to say your team. You can't criticize and not pick a team. You got to pick a team, no Mets. And then who's your other team for the
Oh, I'm
Eastern
going with
Conference?
Denver. They're going to step on the
Denver.
throats
Okay.
of everybody. It's their time now.
Right.
Okay, we talked about the Joker for a while. He couldn't quite get over the hump, even though he did things and brought his team to the Western Conference Finals and things. But now he has a teammate. They're still healthy. They're gelling together. They know how to play together. They play good defense. They have good scores. They have great length. They can really play and defend all over the court. And I think right now it's their time. With the Warriors going down, the Lakers. They're they have AD and LeBron, but it hasn't really gotten them anywhere outside of the playoffs here and there. Haven't been over the top much. So at least when that duo was supposed to be together, right? When they came together, we thought they would be in a lot more of these finals. So I'm going with Denver. They're fun to watch, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Good stuff, Adam. Good stuff. All right, guys. We're gonna rapid fire through these next topics to then make it to our main topic of the show. But our next topic tonight is we're just gonna touch on this real fast. The WNBA, has a draft has happened this past week, and there has been a player in Caitlin Clark, you know what I'm saying? That has been electrifying if you do watch college basketball, women's college basketball, that is. And then another one that's been, kind of in the news, at least in my feeds, with Angel Reese out of LSU. So we had Angel Reese going at 7. We had Caitlin Clark going at 1. I don't watch the, NCAA. So at the end of the day, I don't really know who these players are. But Caitlin Clark stood out to me. And Angel Reese stood out to me. Angel, just based off of her attitude. She was always, like a shit talker, on the court, kind of calling her shots. You see her like emotions, you know what I'm saying? She's, caught up in the news for some other bullshit, but we're not going to get into that. And, obviously the first round pick, the first pick overall in Caitlin, coming in, obviously over 3,000 points at Iowa, school records all over the boards, you know what I'm saying? And also, she is I turned the TV to see them go against that undefeated South Carolina bunch that they played this past NCAA tournament for the final game. And what I seen was a girl that literally runs up to like the 4-point line, which no such thing, but there's like a 4-point line in the big three. So just like 2 feet away from the 3-point line and just drop it in like Steph Curry. And she is just something great. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, no Mets follow. He says Cameron Brake, you know what I'm saying, goes to Los Angeles Sparks. But that being said, guys, I know you guys probably don't follow the WNBA.
Nope.
Care not much about the draft. But any player on here, like Caitlin Clark, like a Cameron Brake, or maybe like an Angel that you guys want to talk about real fast before you move on to the next subject. Go ahead, Mac.
Just congratulations to the young ladies. Just say congratulations to the young ladies. Caitlin Clark had a dominant season. She had an impressive tournament run. I mean, did some amazing things against some really good teams. Ran to a buzzsaw. That South Carolina Lady Gamecocks team. That team is a ball of fire, man, and they just ran into that machine. Caitlin Clark did everything she could do. It was definitely no lack of effort from her, by no means. Just that the rest of the team couldn't do their part, and the South Carolina Gamecocks got the job done. But Caitlin Clark definitely deserved to be the number 1 overall pick. Indiana Fever's getting a player, man. And they introduced her the other day, as a matter of fact, over there at her press conference. So she's gonna move on and do some bigger and better things in the WNBA, man. Just congratulations to them. Like you said, Angel Reese, her and the other young lady got drafted by Chicago. They're trying to get big that over there in Chicago. Like they're trying to make some moves there, do some things there. They dominate the paint. So it looks like they're trying that their mission is with their draft picks, with their selections to two of the taller, bigger, more physical females in this draft. So I don't really know much about WNBA, but on paper, man, like some of these teams made some really strong moves. And congratulations to the young ladies moving on to the next level.
Nicely, well said, well said. Adam, you want to touch on this real fast before you move on?
I mean, the WNBA is coming around a little bit. It's like the women's era in wrestling. You know, they're starting to get their chances with, eventually, good players are going to come out from everywhere, right? So when you have good players and they start to join your league, you're going to get better product. And as the product grows and gets better and you get better players and the NBA showcases you more, you're going to get more eyeballs. And the problem with women's basketball wasn't necessarily what it is. They just weren't making money. And you don't make money if you don't have stars, right? And stars drive your league. And if they had Diana Taurasi and you know, Rebecca Lobo and Lisa Leslie and all those people when they came out, Cheryl Swoops, all those people at the beginning, you know, and there were some girls across the way who have done some good things. But now when you have the draft so publicized, their salary getting publicized, the fact that she had a good tournament, now people know who she is. Now she's going into the WNBA. It only helps the WNBA grow as a sport. It's not something I put on in the background. It's just me. But it's good to see that they're growing their game.
Well said. We have the Kings tipped off against the New Orleans Pelicans. We have Sabonis with Fox, you know, playing against McCollum and, you know, Ingram and the boys. That being said, Zion Williams did obviously not start this game, but we're going to move on, guys. Thank you for your topics and your opinions on the WNBA. I'm going to just cover this real fast. It should only take about a minute unless you guys want to say something, but we have the Team USA announced, you know what I'm saying? The other day we have Bam, Devin Booker, Steph Curry. Congratulations to him. You know, so obviously coming off of the end of the big three, he meets his coach, and now he's going to lead the Team USA in the Olympics. So good luck on them. You have Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, you know, Ant showing some love. You know what I'm saying? Joel Embiid, Tyrese, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Kyrie Leonard, and Jason Tatum. Obviously, big time USA team. I think, you know, we have the ability to get it done. Do we get it done? Who knows? You know, there's a lot of big competition throughout the world, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is a stacked roster. And how do we not get it done with this roster? You guys want to touch on this before we move on?
If they don't get it done, then it's an automatic failure. I mean, no matter what, yeah, I understand international talent is better and better and better and has evolved, but there's no other country that can put together a single team, a team of this caliber. It's just not. They can have a couple of players here and there on their team, but no other country can put together a team like this, a complete team like this. I mean, it's just. I mean, I do question like Anthony Davis being on the team only because, dude, you can't even stay healthy for your team, the Lakers, and now you're going to play in the Olympics now too. Like, come on, bro. You're fragile as shit. Rest your body up and get ready for your NBA season, and just let somebody else have that spot. That's just how I feel. That's just personally how I feel about a guy like him. I get it. You want to compete for your country. You want to win your gold medal and all this, but at the end of the day,
you got that LeBron James pool. You know what I'm saying? You got that LeBron James pool. Hey, you come with me. We going to the Olympics.
And it's just like maybe he'd be better suited just resting his body and preparing for the upcoming NBA season. But that's just how I feel about that. Now I was talking about Anthony Davis, but Kawhi Leonard is another one that also could probably stand to do that himself. At the end of the day, I mean, look, I get it. These guys want to win their gold medals, but still,
that's true to me.
I mean, with their injury history, do they really need the extra? Like,
well, a lot of them will be off
summer when it could be their time off. Yeah, they'll be off, but
listen, you only get to win a gold medal once.
I'm just saying,
once in your life. I can't
blame these guys. Some of these guys get other opportunities.
Yeah, maybe Namir's kind of mad because Anthony Davis had that LeBron pool. Like, you come with me to the Olympics, and maybe he took Jalen Brunson's spot. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. All
But
I'm
at the
saying
end of
now.
the day, there's no excuse for not winning a gold medal from this team. It's just not, to me. It's just automatic failure if
It's
they
the
don't
rookie
win the
Victor
gold.
and Victor
I
and his
don't care.
boys.
Like a silver, a bronze, where other teams could be accepting of the silver and bronze, this team can't be. It's gold or nothing. It's just because it's just no team, no other country can put together a team of this
That's
caliber.
the last right
I
here.
mean, they got a little bit of. They got defense. They got offense. They got they got a good aggressive bigs. There's no other team that can assemble a team. No country can assemble a team like this. So there's no excuse for this team not to get the gold medal. It's just not. It's unacceptable.
Well said. Well said. Adam, go right ahead.
Listen, we the dream team was when I was like 8 years old. That was the original dream team, and will always be the original dream team. But it's Team USA, and they should win. They have a lot of players on here, and LeBron James and his hair plugs, who are still on the team, right? And if you have that guy, like Mac says, there's probably nobody in the world as good as him as the age. So if this team was not running away with victories, I'd be surprised. However, I do agree with Mac that yes, some players do get to get on the Olympic team more than once, obviously, because they're superstars. But not everyone will, and the opportunity to go get a good gold medal is something that some of these guys might look back on who never won a championship and can say, "Hey, listen, I represented my country," and we really need to bring it back, right? The love of the country, the love of just what we do and what our country stands for, and I think winning a gold medal representing your country, you should be proud to go out and do that, and it should be an honor for you, right? And you should be able to parlay that into hopefully winning a gold medal where you can sit there and go back. And I can tell you a lot of people say that's even better than a championship because you're actually facing the world. An Olympic gold medal is one of the highest honors in all of sports, right? There's nothing higher than it. It's a gold medal. And I think, guys who haven't won a championship can learn a lot and be a part of something and have your name etched in the annals of history for years to come. And go get your gold medal. Go do it. Represent USA the way it needs to be represented.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Alrighty, guys. I did a longer. We got Tommy in the building as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. That being said, that is a fire. That is a fire USA roster, but we do need to move on. We have the main topic to get to, and we're almost an hour into the show, guys. So we kind of got the we kind of. It's good that we took some time on the NBA because we hardly do. But now that it's playoff season, we will touch on it a little bit more. But I'm gonna let Mac, break this down because I kind of broke this down on my channel, and I don't want to take too much time. But I just want to hear his thoughts on two fights in particular, and then we'll move on to the main topic of the hour. With that being said, UFC 300 was this past weekend, gang. And boy, was it a good one! It was a banger. What a great night of fights, guys. But I do want to touch on two in particular. Always getting the ads in. But that being said, we had Max Holloway go against Justin Gaethje for the BMF championship belt, and we had Alex go against Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight championship belt. But that being said, Mac, what did you think about this great night of fights? What did you think about any fight in particular that you do want to highlight? If there is none, I do want to get your thoughts on that buzzer beater knockout that was Max Holloway, and then obviously that was Alex Pereira with Jamal Hill. Go right ahead, Mac.
UFC 300 was, that was a great event, man. It was a card that lived up to all the hype. But Max Holloway, man, stole the show, getting that bonus that he well deserved. It was a masterclass that Max Holloway put on against Justin Gaethje. Max Holloway went into that fight as an underdog. People been doubting Max. People thinking he's kind of washed, thinking he's up. He ain't got it no more, and he went out there and absolutely put on a clinic, man. He went out there. From it, the whole fight, I mean, he just dominated the entire fight. And it really started. The first round started off slightly, a little bit slow. The guys, feeling each other out. Max Holloway hit that reverse back kick at the late end of round one, right at the bell of round one, and that just was the game changer right there. Broke Gaethje's nose. Gaethje had to fight the rest of the fight with a broken nose. So shout out to him for just being a tough son of a bitch, going out there pretty much only being able to breathe out of his mouth against a fighter the caliber of Max Holloway, man, and hanging in there. I mean, hanging in there to the bitter end. Max Holloway scored that knockout with literally 1 second on the clock. And at the end of round 5, man. But that was, like I said, it was an absolute masterclass. Max Holloway definitely still got it. He went out there and proved it. And it was just a phenomenal performance. I haven't seen one quite like that in quite some time in the UFC, man. Max Holloway did the damn thing. 5 rounds. Just literally beating the shit out of Justin Gaethje every way possible. I mean, Gaethje really was only able to get those leg kicks off. Pretty much all the offense he was able to muster was in those leg kicks, man. And other than that, Max Holloway just did the damn thing. As far as the main event, Pereira and Hill, man, Hill talked a lot of shit, bro. He talked a lot of shit building up to this fight, man, and it just didn't work out for you, man. Pereira went out there and showed you why, indeed, he is the champ right now, man. Look, I understand you didn't lose your title technically, Hill, but at the end of the day, man, you had to relinquish that belt. Pereira is the champion now, and he shows you exactly why he's the champion now. Scoring that first round KO, didn't let all your head games affect him. He went right out there. He was focused, laser focused, and he got it done, man. And he got it done. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think Hill was going to win. I didn't think he was going to get knocked out in the first round either. But that was just something crazy to see. And I'm actually that worked out that night because that UFC card had 3 5-round fights on there, and it was going until about 1:30 over East Coast time anyway. So it was time. I need that show to kind of wrap up because I was getting a little tired.
Thank you for doing that. For you.
But I can't say
get some sleep, you know.
Thanks. Getting them out of there, man. But also the ladies, man. Mm-hmm. Lee, man. Wei Lee that was a great performance by Wei Lee, and Jean Zab. I don't know how to say her name, but
we just call her Jan.
She was another little tough. Yeah, Jan, a little tough chick, man. She was a little tough chick, man. She went out there and she stood toe to toe with Wei Lee, man. And that was an impressive performance as well. But shout out to Wei Lee, man, handling her business and getting the job done as well, man. But it was a great card, top to bottom, man. Even some of the undercard fights from earlier in the evening, the preliminary fights, man, a lot of great fights on that UFC card, man. There was one in particular I wanted to touch on real quick. Let me where the hell I can find? Was it this one? Yeah, Bobby Green and Jim Miller, man. I don't know how the referee didn't stop that fight. That Jim Miller, man. Jim Miller was a bloody mess. I mean, he had his face looked like raw hamburger meat. I don't know how the ref didn't stop that, but at the end of the day, he hung in there all the way to the end, to the last bell, lost on decision. But that was one of those great fights on the preliminary card, man. That was awesome, man. But like I said, the main card stacked top to bottom. It was a great show. Great day of fights over there for UFC 300, man. They showed up and they showed out, man. It was one hell of a show, man. If you ain't seen it, check the replay out, man. Like I said, that Holloway Gaethje fight is worth the price of admission, man. That's how you put on the show for the audience, man. Yeah, right there, man. Right there, that dude. I don't know how that fight was able to continue with my man, with him looking like that. He's unbelievable, man. But I mean, what the call was going for too, man. He was going for it. He was trying to finish him. He just couldn't quite get it, man. He just couldn't quite get it, but he got the W regardless, nonetheless. But yeah, it was a great night of fights, man. UFC 300 was definitely the shit, man. If you haven't, definitely check it out, man. One of the probably best pay-per-views in some time from the UFC overall, top to bottom, man. The only one really truly lopsided fight, or Holloway's fight ended up being pretty lopsided too. But other than that, the rest of the card was pretty, The first fight was kind of lopsided. My man dominated that first fight, but he was also a huge favorite. So, but other than that, great card, great night of fights. The women performed, the guys performed. Like I said, that Holloway Gagey fight, God, you guys just check that out. Like I said, that knockout right at 1 second left, that was just epic. I mean, Gagey was out on his feet. You could see when they showed the replay, he was sleeping before he hit the canvas. As soon as Holloway hit him, punched him, he was asleep, man. Before he even fell, it was crazy.
Yeah, and absolutely, to be up 4-1 and still have the energy and have the ability to be like, here, come meet me in the center of the canvas right here, and then swing to try to get a knockout and actually getting a knockout in the buzzer beater. That was absolutely amazing. And to Alex saying, hey, hold on, I got this, after getting kicked low, and then to go out there and then drop Jamal Hill with that amazing uppercut. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mac, for that amazing take on UFC 300. As we move on, guys, to our main topic of the evening, the NFL draft is less than a week away. It's only 6 days, 7 days away. And a lot has been talked about. But this is the premium takes where we're gonna probably take the next 45 minutes or hour and kind of cover it. In entirely what we really want to do. There's been a lot of talks lately about the Giants going wide receiver, going quarterback. There's been like a alliance with wide receivers, alliance with quarterback lovers. At the end of the day, we're all Giants fans, guys, and we're a fan of the Shield before anything, and I'm a fan of this team before anything. I know Adam usually likes to start off the shows this past 2 weeks of giving, we like to give him the mic for 20 minutes because, I hardly look at these kind of stuff. I should be doing it more, but with just my job schedule and everything kind of up in the air, I haven't got a chance to. But that being said, I kind of rely on kind of rely on Adam to kind of keep me in the loops on what's been going on Twitter Spaces. So over the past 2 weeks, we kind of like to let Adam have his moment and kind of talk for 20 minutes. So we are going to do that soon. And we're going to open up this segment with that. But before we do that, I want Mac to say a few words, and I want to say a few words. And Mac, if you want to say a few words after too, I would like to say, there's been a lot of talk about like us taking a wide receiver at 6, which I totally understand. And, I understand the concept of that, of us wanting to build a team and us want to, have everything right for the next quarterback. And that's absolutely facts. But, what I don't like lately in the Giants community, it's been so much knocking people that want to go quarterback, which I don't really understand because I've been one of those people. And when I really look at the quarterbacks that we do have in this draft, I do believe that, we have 6 quarterbacks that is better than Daniel Jones when Daniel Jones came out as a prospect. And if you really look at it this way, why does these 6 quarterbacks have to be compared to Patrick Mahomes? There's been a lot of talks of people who want receivers comparing the next bunch to like they have to be Patrick Mahomes. Aren't you guys tired of picking offensive line that doesn't really pan out? Aren't you guys tired of getting wide receivers in here that doesn't work out? Injured all the fucking time. So what happens in week 1 when Daniel Jones does get injured, and then we have Drew Lock for the rest of the season? What do you guys want to accomplish next season? So my people that have been bashing us for wanting a quarterback, what do you guys want to accomplish next season? Are we going to be Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? Are we going to beat him in the Super Bowl? No, we're absolutely not. Are we going to go to the playoffs? Are we going to compete in the playoffs? No, absolutely not. We're going to get eliminated in the first round. Okay? With the quarterbacks we do have on this roster. So we make it to the playoffs, right? We get eliminated first round. And you guys want to go fishing for a fucking quarterback like they're gonna be there. Well, we can always move the future. We can always trade the future. We can always move up and get your quarterback. No. Why would we look that far when there's 6 quarterbacks right here in this draft that literally you can take? And maybe I don't want them to just take a quarterback, but that seems to be the narrative that these people have been plugging me into this group of people that want to take a quarterback. And that's absolutely wrong. I don't care if you take a fucking quarterback and he sits the whole fucking year. At least he's on roster when your T. Higgins becomes available as a free agent if he doesn't get traded. When your Brian Ayuk becomes available as a free agent if he doesn't get traded. When CeeDee Lamb comes available as a free agent when they don't want to pay $80 million to CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Who knows? They might keep CeeDee Lamb and let go of Dak Prescott. But when Enigma's coming out of Ohio State, wide receiver university. When Homie's coming out of fucking Ole Miss. Okay, guys, we get 2 quarterbacks next year, right? But guess what? It wouldn't even matter because we have a guy on roster. But you want to bet on your Quinn Edwards. You want to bet on your Sanders when we finish 18 to 20th, maybe we make the playoffs and we finish in the top 20. You want to go fucking cast the line for a quarterback when you're in the water at 6 and you can just spear one because the fish is swimming in front of you and you can just spear gun a fucking fish, but you guys want to make it harder. You guys want to go fucking wait till next year like quarterbacks grows on fucking trees. Okay, last time I checked, Daniel Jones is 17-19 as a fucking starter as Duke. Why don't we talk about that? Why are we comparing these rookies to fucking Patrick Mahomes? You know what Bengals fans are happy about? You know what Buffalo fans are happy about? You know what Baltimore fans are happy about? The future. Being in the playoffs every fucking year and having a chance. As a Miami Heat fan, I'm fucking cocky as shit. I know we have a chance in the playoffs. I know it. That's a Miami Heat fan. I know we do. That's a Buffalo fan with Josh Allen. That's a Cincinnati fan with Joe Burrow. That's a Ravens fan with Lamar Jackson. Guess what, motherfuckers? That's a Houston fan now with CJ. Okay? So all this talks about you have to be the next Patrick Mahomes to get drafted by the New York Giants is absolutely bullshit. We don't know football because we want to draft the quarterback is absolutely bullshit. You know, it's absolutely bullshit. Rainbows and sunshines. Hyping up the fucking fan base for a quarterback named Daniel Jones that's clearly can't fucking play the game of football, should be a backup or go to the UFL because you're 17-19 at Duke before you even entered this fucking league, before you even fucking played top level schools. Who did he play at Duke? Maybe did he have a game against Alabama? Maybe. Okay, that's one. Who else? You guys like make Dukies out here beating fucking top schools. But yeah, you want to compare these fucking quarterbacks to Patrick Mahomes? Compare him to Daniel Jones. They're better prospect right now. Give fucking Bo Nix, the worst one on that fucking list. Give Bo Nix 6 fucking years. Do the stat comparison. No stat comparison. Look at Daniel Jones' numbers. And the worst thing about it is I was a Daniel Jones believer. I was a Daniel Jones supporter. 4 years into it, I was riding his ass. Get this man a receiver. Get this man an offensive line. And guess what? We tried over and over and over again. But yet these guys are cutting in fucking Daniel Jones like they gave birth to this motherfucker. Like that's their kid. Like they're so fucking hypnotized like they're in a casino like Percy Jackson. They'll hypnotized by the Giants being so fucking bad. Excuse my French because I'm heated. They're so hypnotized by the Giants being so bad that everything needs to be fucking perfect for a 6-round fucking pick. Guess what, motherfuckers? We don't got Barkley. So when Neighbors is getting fucking double coveraged, okay, and Daniel Jones can't fucking see him, or even though he can't see him, maybe he's eyeing down Slayton, or maybe he's eyeing down Hyatt. Maybe he's fucking doesn't see him. Because his ability to process is so fucking bad that you guys don't even fucking realize it because you're cuddling Daniel Jones like a baby. And they're like, oh, we're not fans of Daniel Jones. We could just get a quarterback next year. We could just get a quarterback next year. You know where you can get a quarterback in every single draft? A wide receiver. Look at the history. You can get a wide receiver in every single draft. And in this draft, we're deep at wide receiver. We're deep at offensive line. But at the end of the day, we want to go wide receiver because the Malik Neighbors is him. The Malik Neighbors has played against top colleges every single game out. Every single game out, this guy played against top colleges, right? LSU schedule against the elite of the elite cornerbacks, huh? This guy's going to come in and produce 100 yards every fucking game, huh? When you can get another fucking not as good, but a pretty good receiver that can play X in the second fucking round. But yeah, you guys coloring in Malik Neighbors like you guys fucking gave birth to him. You guys are coloring in Daniel Jones like you gave birth to him, or we can get Daniel Jones next year. Get rid of him next year. When this quarterback draft this year is so deep, but we want to wait next year. We want to wait next year because some magical quarterback is going to move up, and the Giants are going to have the opportunity to get him. Fuck the future. Why are we worrying about the future? The future is now. Get your damn quarterback right now this year. And I'm not saying get your quarterback and make him fucking start the whole season. I'm just saying get your quarterback because it's a quarterback draft. Let him sit the whole season. Let him compete against Daniel Jones. But I'm sorry, Adam, to take fucking up most of your rant. But I'm gonna let you rant because I know you've been hearing some shit too, and you want to get some shit off your chest. But before you do, I'm gonna let Mac say a couple words, and then it's on to you. And after you guys rant, we can go on and we can continue and talk the NFL draft, because don't ever fucking group us in like we're a fucking cult, a group to separate us like Giants fans. My name is Zion Zenith, and I'm all about peace until motherfuckers say something stupid. The motherfuckers say that if we want a quarterback, so we unintelligent. So them motherfuckers that want a wide receiver saying everybody that wants a quarterback for the New York Giants is unintelligent. Oh my God. Stop drinking that fucking poison Kool-Aid. It's making you look stupid. Go right ahead, guys. Go right ahead, Matt.
I don't believe that presser one bit, no, Mets. I'm sorry. If you believed it, then you took the cheese. Sorry.
Oh, look. I don't understand it. I don't know what the complication is. I don't know why people are overthinking this. I don't understand what competence at the quarterback position can do for a team. It's just the proof is in the pudding, people. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes understands a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a talent. But do you really think did he have a receiving core that was significantly better than the New York Giant receiving core this season? No, he did not. He had one that was probably on par with the New York Giant receiving core this past season. And I understand, like I said, Mahomes is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a talent. It's hard to compare anybody to him. But at the end of the day, competence at the quarterback position can go a long way. Look at the New York Giants past teams, for instance, the Super Bowl teams. They're never really truly the best teams in the league, either one of those seasons. But just competence at the quarterback position, it can go a long way. Daniel Jones is not competent at the quarterback position. I'm sorry. It's been 5 years, guys. He has not evolved, not nearly enough. You know, they say good quarterbacks make players around them better. Daniel Jones seems to ruin careers. Kenny Golladay came here. You can feel any way you want about him. He was a high-priced free agent wide receiver coming off of a couple of really big years out in Detroit. This guy's not even in the league anymore after playing with Daniel Jones. Darren Waller had maybe one of his worst seasons of his career playing with Daniel Jones. It's just, come on. He's a career killer. It's right now, it's not working out, man. I don't understand why people still are making cases for Daniel Jones. Logan Ryan came out making that statement this week talking about Daniel, the fourth best quarterback in this draft class is not better than Daniel Jones when he came out of school. What are we even talking about? I mean, I get it. He's your friend. He's your buddy, your old teammate and stuff like that. But come on, man. What are we even talking about? Like, did we watch a single game last season? Like I said, you watched the games Jones started. You watched the games Tyrod started. You watched the games Tommy DeVito started. None of those guys are really that great. But at the end of the day, at least with Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito, the offense looked like something halfway, some semblance of an NFL offense. At least they weren't scared to take the shots. They weren't very good at it necessarily, but they were taking the shots and trying to open things up. It's just, it's crazy for me the fact that people are still defending the mediocrity of Daniel Jones and still making these excuses like, well, he needs this receiver. He needs a big-time receiver. So what? So he can just waste them away? Because that's what he proves to do. It's a waste at this point. Look, he's a nice kid, man. Okay, I don't wish bad things on him, but he's not the quarterback for this football team, man. He's not the quarterback this team needs to keep trying to call themselves building around. Would I like him to prove me wrong? Prove me wrong, he can prove me wrong. And I love that. But I just don't think he's going to. He's shown me nothing to make me believe that he's going to make me feel any different about him going forward. I defended that kid as long as I could. I can no longer do it. This team needs competence at the quarterback position. And you can, like Zion just said, there's so many great receivers in this draft. You can get literally a game-changing receiver day 2, maybe even day 3. in this draft, a guy that can come in and be an immediate game changer. That's how deep the wide receivers in this draft are. The quarterbacks, after those first 6 guys, it kind of just drops off a cliff, man, a little bit, man. You're throwing darts at the board, man, after those first 6 guys, man. So if you can't figure out a way to come away with at least one of those guys, like I said, then you're not taking this thing seriously, man. DJ is, like I said, he's a nice guy, but it's time to move on, man. He's just not. He's not the answer. He's not. And they got to figure this out. New York Giants. Nobody's going to take you seriously if Daniel Jones continues to run out that time for you at the quarterback position. No one's going to take you seriously. You'll never be considered a threat with Daniel Jones running out there at quarterback for you, man. Got to figure it out. Got to address the situation, man. One way or another, however you got to maneuver things, however you got to make it work. Stop listening to what everybody's saying. Oh, you can't take this person here and there. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can do what the fuck you want to do. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You need to do what's best for the New York Giants. And the quarterback position right now is atrocious for the New York Giants. It's atrocious. It's terrible. And no one's going to take this team seriously with that quarterback room that the New York Giants have. It doesn't matter what receivers you have.
One quarterback goes down.
That quarterback room right now,
we're going to compete.
No one cares. No one's going to give a damn. So that's what I got.
I want you to answer this question and pass it back to me. I'll answer this question and then we'll pass it to Adam. Go right ahead, Mac. If the Giants dropped the wide receiver at 6, how would you feel?
I mean, look, I'm going to always support the team, but I think I made it quite clear what I want this team to do and what kind of move I need this team to make. End of the day, I still support the team. I want to support the decision. But look, I just feel like there's just a lot of good receivers you can get, and you don't necessarily have to feel like you need to spend this number 6 pick on a receiver when you can, like I said, get so many other good ones that are legitimately good in the later rounds, man. Like I don't know why this team seems to be so scared to address the quarterback position. At this point, it almost seems like it's a fear. It's like, why does nobody want to admit that Daniel Jones ain't the guy? Why does nobody? What kind of a stronghold does he have? I don't get it. Address the quarterback position. That's what I need to happen. Will it happen?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I need it.
I will say this. Like Max said, I'm a fan of the team. You know what I'm saying? If they decide to take a wide receiver at 6 and pray that a quarterback is going to be there later in round 6 or not round 6. I'm sorry, round 2 or round 3, because at the end of the day, we need to come out of this draft, like Adam says all the time, at least with a quarterback. But here's my reason why we're kind of upset, because it just delays us even further. I know a lot of people think by getting a wide receiver at 6 helps us in the future, but it really doesn't when there's not that much quarterbacks coming out next year. Yeah, there's always going to be one that rises, but at the end of the day, guys, there's really not. Like, this quarterback draft this year wasn't being talked about in 2021, guys. We don't even hear none of the media talking about Sanders right now. No one's talking about Quinn Ewers right now. But last year when Bryce Young was getting drafted,
that, Alex.
You know what I'm saying? When all of that was getting drafted,
exactly that.
Everybody was talking about how would Caleb, how would Drake May match up. You know what I'm saying? Exactly what Alex said.
TDs, he couldn't even average a TD a game.
Absolutely. But they're holding on to this guy, and then I just feel like, we draft the quarterback even if he sits the whole year, guys.
He even average a TD a game.
There's never been a draft that has.
Jalen Hurts had 15 rushing touchdowns alone.
Yeah, there's never been a draft that has been wide receiver stripped. Like, you're never going to go into a draft and be like, damn, there's no wide receivers this year. And every single draft, if you rewind the last 10 years, the number one receiver is not the number one receiver. Jefferson went first this year's draft? No.
That's so true.
So at the end of the day, when you rewind the time, there's some years where there's no quarterbacks. There's other years when there's a lot of quarterbacks, right? This is the year where there's a lot of quarterbacks. And why would we not take a quarterback if we take a quarterback, he sits the whole year, and then you look at next year, guess what, guys? Well, $40 million off the books. But not only that, guys, this guy is going to be better than the quarterbacks coming out because he has already a year under the system, learning and growing, even if he's sitting, learning and growing. Okay. And not only that, guys, next year, guess what, guys? We're not worrying about the most important position of football, that he touches the ball every year. I know I kind of took a second take by answering that question. No, I would be not mad. I'll just be confused as fuck. I'll just be confused as hell. Like, why, when this wide receiver class is so deep? And it's funny because George Shane is just fugazing the media at this point, and watch him take a quarterback at 6. Like, it's just at 6. They're like, all right, you should trade up. But at the end of the day, don't ask Joe Shane if you're going to draft the position. Like, he's going to come out and he's just going to say, yes, I'm not going to draft that position. Anything's on the table. But go right ahead, Adam. You have the floor. We've been talking for a while now.
So the funniest part about all this is all coming from you guys, right? This stuff. This whole conversation that we get into, right? We're just talking about wide receivers. Anybody who wants a wide receiver wants to perpetuate what we already got going on. Because the argument that I was having on Twitter was, would Darius Slayton be a better quarterback would be a better receiver if he had a better quarterback? And I said, yes. I said he would. And that got into this debate with certain people. They know who they are, who say these statements and try to articulate their points with Davante Adams. Let me break it down for you, okay? I did all the mathematics because that's what I like to do. Analytical brain over here. You know, I just can't spit facts without giving you facts. And the facts are this, right? I use Garrett Wilson and I use Zach Wilson, and I'll get to Davante Adams in a minute, as barometers. Let me ask you guys a question. Top 10 pick, Drake London. Top 10 pick, Garrett Wilson. What are your expectation levels for those guys?
I mean, like Drake London, they go to USC. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the Trojans. Got to slide that in there. But at the end of the day,
top 10 picks.
I thought he was gonna be doing better. I don't think he had the quarterback to throw him the football. And when you go add in Garrett Wilson, I kind of understand your point there. But I'll answer that question by saying top 10 pick, you better be balling out of control.
Okay, I look at like Odell Beckham Jr. You got to be like that. You got to come out the gate. When I get into the top 10, I don't want you to crawl over 1,000 yards. Like 1,000 yards is good. You know what 1,000 yards is? It's 58.9 yards per game in a 17-game schedule. 58.9 yards a game. So keep that math in mind because I just did it for you, right? So that's what Garrett Wilson did. Now, Davante Adams, this person was arguing with me, used Davante Adams as an example. Okay, Davante Adams had Derek Carr in 2022. He went for 1,500 yards on 103 catches with a 15-yard average and 15 touchdowns. In 2023, when his quarterbacks were Aiden O'Connell and Jimmy Garoppolo, he went for 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, and a 12.5 yards per average attempt. And if you did his mathematics, he averaged 58 almost 60 yards a game last year. You know what he was averaging the 2 seasons? He was with Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, almost 98 yards a game. Okay? So that's the difference when you have a good quarterback and you have an average quarterback. Davante Adams has 1,100 yards. That guy should be flirting with 1,500 yards every season. Dak Prescott gives CeeDee Lamb a big time. When Cooper Kupp was playing, he didn't have the same games that he had. Dak Prescott comes in, that guy has 1,700 yards. He tried to throw Tyreek Hill at me. He goes, oh, Tyreek Hill, he's the dog because he went from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa. I said, did you just hear what you just said? He went from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa. He didn't go to Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? So quarterbacks do matter. The reason why I keep saying that to people is because people keep throwing shit at me like, well, you know, a receiver's going to be a receiver no matter what. Yeah, tell that to Justin Jefferson, who balled out the first 3 games with Kirk Cousins. And then after that, plateaued. And then was injured. Oh, but he could do it with Nick Mullins. Yeah, but are people worried about him? You guys got to understand the threat of a quarterback can make a receiver life miserable. Look what Eli Manning did. Eli Manning made Victor Cruz. Eli Manning made Akeem Nicks. Eli Manning made Mario Manningham a household name. Not the other way around. It wasn't. They don't go Manningham to Manning. No, they go Manning to Manningham. That's what they say. You know why? Because it left the quarterback's hands and went into the receiver's hands. I had people telling me that a receiver makes a quarterback. It doesn't go Rice to Montana. It goes Montana to Rice. That's what happens. Okay? That's what you get when you get a quarterback and you get a duo. All right, I watched the 2009 Super Bowl. Guess what? Peyton Manning made Pierre Garçon. He made Austin Collie. Those are the two receivers on that team with Reggie Wayne. So don't sit here and tell me that the quarterback doesn't matter. Don't sit here and tell me, because this other person also said they would take Daniel Jones over Jalen Hurts, and they gave no credit to Jalen Hurts' 15 touchdowns because they were tush pushes. But I said to that person, I said, if Daniel Jones had 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns passing, and 15 touchdowns rushing, you guys would be blowing him. You guys would be all over him saying he's a Hall of Famer.
I don't think Jalen Hurts trips when he's 1-3 wide open. I don't think he gets ahead of himself and trips before he's.
My point is. He also doesn't do press conferences with his eyes look like they're like bad eyes. What are you doing, bro? Stop staring into the camera like a crazy person. The point is this. Don't tell me that a Devontae Adams makes the quarterback, because all these Hall of Fame receivers, they got somebody throwing it to him. And he's like, oh, well, what about Larry Fitzgerald and, these other guys? I said, look, Jerry Fitzgerald, you don't remember his career without Kurt Warner and out Carson Palmer. Two great passers. Who are the guys in the middle? Nobody knows. I mean, yeah, did T.O. get yards? His best years were the Cowboys, the 49ers, and the Eagles. Okay? Facts. That's what it is.
I also look at it like this too, Adam and Matt. It's almost like
he did not.
It's almost like we're gonna get to that too. What's up, Matt Cave? Thank you so much for joining us too tonight.
He did not.
It's almost like, Daniel Jones is so is so injury plagued at this point, and it's like, at least if you do get a quarterback in here, if he does have to story, if he does compete and if he does win the story, he has a red shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know how tough, we know how that's been. You know what I'm saying? We know how injury these players has been when they come onto a Giants field, whether it be a practice field, whether it be MetLife Stadium. At least this guy's redshirted.
Let me finish my point here.
And I'll let you finish.
Is that Malik Neighbors, you want to draft him, fine. You want to draft that guy, great. He's not going to have the numbers that you want. The numbers that I wanted of a top 10 pick are not going to be a mere 1,000-yard season, okay, that Garrett Wilson gave me, okay, the down year that Devontae Adams gave me. I want to have 1,100 yards. You need to be Puka Nacua. But why is Puka Nacua who he is? Who's Puka Nacua getting thrown the ball to him? Who's throwing Puka Nacua the ball? My point is, don't give me this nonsense about getting a receiver in and making people better. What receivers do is, if you're a good receiver and you go to a quarterback that's great, you become better, okay? The greatest show on turf is not the greatest show on turf without Kurt Warner. It's not. As much as people hate that guy or don't like him or whatever, I'm not a huge fan of him. Kurt Warner was meant for that offense, tailor-made, and he makes all those guys. I mean, look at Jim Kelly and Andre Reed. The list goes down and down, right? But guess what? There's not many duos that have big time receivers that win Super Bowls. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Julio Jones, big time receiver, was in the Super Bowl, never won it, right? T.O. I mean, you had Rice to Montana, but that's because Montana and Rice were absolutely epic. So if you're going into this draft, and if I'm a Giant fan, right, I want a quarterback by any means necessary. I don't want to hear about next year, because you know what happens when you procrastinate about next year? Things happen. Things come up. This guy gets injured. This guy gets traded. The ball bounces this way. The ball bounces that way. And next thing you know, you're at 10 and you're making the same excuses again as to not getting a quarterback in a weaker class, and you're going to reach. And then what happens is you have a Daniel Jones situation all over again. Because instead of getting the premium quarterbacks or even waiting the year before, because some people say you pontificate, you look ahead. Well, if Dave Gettleman looked ahead and realized his blunder with Justin Herbert, he should have taken Josh Allen and said, well, you know what? We may not be that good next year. I might have a chance to get Daniel Jones. Let me go do that, right? And I mean, I have a chance to get Justin Herbert next year, and that in that quarterback class. Let me go do that. And that would have been a better move, right? Because that was instead what happened was he punted on the quarterback in 2018 because he wanted a running back, and they had Eli Manning. So then he came back in a weaker class and reached for a guy that he shouldn't have been reached for, right? And then not only that, the Giants had a chance to get rid of this guy, and they doubled down on him, and he failed miserably. And now it's time to rip the Band-Aid off. And if you have a chance to do that, why wouldn't you want to do that? I don't understand. The thing that I hate about this, and I'll land this plane for the draft, for me at least, for the Giants, is I hate how people already project guys' careers before they even step on the field because the guys are worried about 6 because of Daniel Jones. But what about Justin Herbert? I mean, aren't we happy that Brian Daboll's here to be a quarterback guru, right? Didn't you see him have some progress with a rookie quarterback and Tyrod Taylor? You don't think that he can get his own guy in here and mold some of the traits you like? I mean, I know no Mets, you don't like J.J. McCarthy. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is leading some of the things that our quarterback doesn't have. I personally want Drake May, and I think that's who they're going to go get. And I think at the end of the day, that's who's going to be here because they need their guy. I'm not going to believe Joe Shane when he says to me at the press conference, I'm comfortable with Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Drew Lock as our quarterback. That doesn't even sound pretty. That doesn't even sound good. Even though I'm going to be rooting for Drew Lock to be the starting quarterback if that happens, or even Tommy DeVito, I don't want to see Daniel Jones anymore. That doesn't instill confidence in me. I got one guy doing the gabagool sign all over the place. I got another guy who only has a win against the Eagles, which is what he's hanging his hat on. It did play okay against the 49ers. And I have a guy with 2 serious neck injuries. He looks like a freaking weirdo on the stage. His own teammates don't like him, and I'm supposed to bring this guy back, and I'm supposed to believe that he went to all these pro days and all these scouting events and did all this homework to then punt the quarterback position for a receiver who, by the way, you can get anywhere. They're selling them like hotcakes. Ayuk is about to be traded. T. Higgins is on the market.
Diggs just got traded to Houston Texans. Come on.
Stephon Diggs just got traded. This is what I'm saying. It's not like we can't go out and get a guy easier than we can get a.
We restructure a few contracts. We get T. Higgins.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead. Look at that right there, Buffalo. They didn't trade Josh Allen away. They traded their fucking receiver away. Their great receiver. They didn't trade their great quarterback. They traded their great receiver away. Put that into perspective, man. And make it and let it sink in. You need competence at the quarterback position to make your offense go, man.
And look what Atlanta did.
Straight up. You can't. It's not going to work if you just keep. We're going to add this receiver, add this receiver, add it. And if you got Daniel Jones throwing the ball at their damn feet, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Like Wandale Robinson might not be the greatest, but at the end of the day, I watched so many plays last year. Daniel Jones throwing the ball at this man's feet, not giving him any opportunity to make a play, to get in the yak, nothing. It's just not working all across the board. This guy he's scared to throw the ball down the field. It's intermediate passing is not what it needs to be. It's not consistent. His read, everything.
Hold up right there.
Nothing.
Motherfuckers think that we don't have the knowledge to go on our fucking PC, bring up fucking old tape from fucking 2020, 2021, 2022. Okay, deep in his career, right? And really look at the times he had clean fucking pocket, clean fucking receivers, and still missed. Come on, guys, 6 fucking years. This guy showed no progress, but yet you're making a million excuses. I can't wait what next year's excuse is going to be.
Well, this is the draft.
I can still picture that play was in Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. Darius Slayton running down the field wide the fuck open, and Daniel Jones throwing an interception to a goddamn defensive fucking tackle or whatever the fuck, whoever it was. Come on.
I'm watching the game.
What do we? Meanwhile, on that exact same play, Darius Slayton is running down the field wide open. That's what we have at the quarterback position.
A top 6 pick.
Why do we not want to change that?
But the narrative that stinks is that you're not giving these guys a chance. I remember when he missed a wide open Darius Slayton against the Commanders, hit him right in the hands. I mean, look, Daniel Jones. The problem is with Daniel Jones is that he's damaged. He's damaged goods. Okay, he's damaged goods, and all I'm saying is you have a chance to get a guy, whether it be Drake May and JJ or Jaden Daniels, whomever, Bo Nix, Penix, I don't care, one of those guys. Hell, I'll even take Spencer Rattler because I know he has some talent, and I think Brian Daboll can do something with him. But my point is, is that you as a GM can't be happy with this. You as a fan shouldn't be happy about this. And this is why it should be time for a change, because the change is not about, like, to me, I don't believe you should let the Vikings or the Broncos trade above you. I just don't. If they're willing to go that far for this guy, why aren't you? What's the difference between them and you? Oh, well, they got more assets. Okay, but if that guy goes off to be a star in Denver, why do you care? You're going to go off and let him be a star in Denver because you're worried about an extra first-round pick where you don't even know where you be? What if this guy ends up in 2 years? Let's say you give up the 2026 pick, right? And let's say in 2 years, you have the 25th pick. Are you really going to give a shit that you now you have a late first-round pick that was given up?
Not a damn thing.
You won't.
Not a damn thing. They owe him nothing. They owe him nothing.
Right. And they're like, oh, he's got to be the starter. Like, this guy also said the expectation was to bring back Wink Martindale, and that didn't happen. Okay? Like, the thing is, for me, what makes me mad is, you need to draft somebody to put in the pipeline. You might as well draft somebody that has talent, because Daniel Jones may not be in the books next year. Tommy DeVito's not a guarantee to be here next year. And Drew Lock has a 1-year deal. And, chances are he may not be here for the long term. So you have nobody there. You already have Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. You have that guy that you signed. I forget what his name is. The receiver that they got from West Virginia. Keithan. He has like a long name. Ford Wheaton or something like that, right?
Bryce Ford Wheaton,
yeah. Bryce Ford Wheaton.
Bryce Ford Wheaton.
That they spent a lot of money for. They talked him up in practice and all this stuff. So you have Isaiah Hodgins, who you just signed. What's up, Big Simple? Go get your Jaden Daniels, baby. But you have all these guys that you're harvesting, right, and building a crop for. But yet you don't have anybody that you're growing in the QB room, because the guy that you have in the QB room hasn't grown himself. And then you brought in Drew Lock, who I think is going to be the starter, but that's a story for another day. And then you have Tommy DeVito. You can't be Tommy DeVito, by the way, you benched last year. So you're telling me that he's better now? You benched his ass. If he was so good, you would have kept him in and let him learn. If you thought that guy was going to be the future, you would have let him take his lumps. Instead, you said, fuck you, get to the bench. I'm going to try to win some games, and you put back in Tyler Taylor. I'm just saying. Like, and you want me to believe that that's going to be your plan of action? Like, even if Malik Neighbors does come here, or Roma Dunze, why is that no different than Barkley being here? Like, Barkley everyone tells me about how weapons they don't have, but Barkley's on the field with Daniel Jones, and clearly he's a better player when Barkley's on the field with Daniel Jones. But when they took away Barkley, what happened? What are they going to do when they take away Neighbors? We don't even know if our tight end's coming back. We talk about Darren Waller, right? We don't even know if that guy's coming back yet. So, and now Darius Slayton, let me get to that motherfucker. Okay, because that motherfucker wants to hold the fuck out, dude. What have you done? We can replace your 3 touchdowns. Okay, your 750 yards. Yeah, okay, bro. You ain't no number 1 receiver. I'm giving you credit that you wouldn't have 1,000 yards if your quarterback was better. Okay, but don't be sitting here trying to hold out like you've done something. Give me a break. All right.
I love this basketball game right now. I really do. Sorry,
Darius
Adam, your
Slayton,
point's amazing.
Here's the thing. If you're going to trade up for Drake May, include Darius Slayton's ass. Like, listen. We'll give you Darius Slayton, a bag of balls, the 6th pick, and our first next year and our second next. Like, Joe Shane, this is my message to you, and I'll finish with this. Go get your quarterback. You never know when you're going to be back here again. You don't know what the class is. You even said you can't get one in the later rounds. You even said that you need to get one in the first rounds, and you've even convinced your bosses that this is a great class. They've given you the green light to move on from Daniel, and now you're going to punt it because the Vikings have an extra pick more than you? Listen, Joe, take a word from your guy, Brandon Beane. They're going to fire you if he's good, or they're going to fire you if he's bad. You might as well take your swing, okay? Go get your guy, build your legacy, change the course of history for the New York Giants, and don't punt until next year.
Absolutely, well said, Adam. And obviously, I didn't want to cut you off because we still can go for a little bit longer. I do want to do a final exercise with you guys, and I do want Mac to stay a few words. Let's stay on this subject for a little bit longer. I just wanted to say something real fast because of the fact that I do understand. I love it. I love this as much as I hate it because we all should be united. But We are divided. We don't have no food, but like we suck right now as a franchise. Just put it that way. We are terrible as a franchise. You know what I'm saying? And when you're a terrible franchise like the New York Giants, you know, it's been a long time since we actually been good. You know, we get a lot of fights, we get a lot of debates, we get a lot of arguments, you know what I'm saying, in the off season because you know we suck. With that being said, like, you know, I do understand. I'm not trying to sit up here and I don't know everything. I do not get paid $100,000 a year. That's not my job to go research these draft players. That's not my job. Okay, so I don't know it all. But you know, I understand the reasons why people would want to go wide receiver. But my final thought on that reason is like, you can bring up any counter argument to me, but I'm just gonna shut it down to this. Like, what do you guys expect out of next year? Like, what do you guys expect out of next year? That's just my question to that. You know, what do you guys expect out of next year? Because even if we make the playoffs by drafting a wide receiver, you know, we're still gonna be picking
Still
in
need
20.
a quarterback anyways.
So we're gonna need a quarterback regardless. And I don't want to go fishing. I said it at the beginning of my take. I'm gonna say it again. I don't want to go cast the line for a quarterback next year, but we're in prime position. You know, we're gonna cast. We're on the boat right now. Next year, we're on the boat. We're on the boat casting fucking lines, right? But this year, we're actually in the water, and the fish are all around us, and we have a fucking spill gun, and we can just spill one of these bad boys, give them to the quarterback guru that is Brian Dable. Let him develop him and see what happens. 6 years later, Daniel Jones is not in the NFL, and this guy might be somebody. And if he's not, it's all right because at least we tried. We tried once on the quarterback after Eli. We tried once, and yet we still have people that don't want to go quarterback. But I understand it. But I don't. You can come at me with any counter argument why not to go quarterback, and I'll come at you with this. We're in a prime spot to get one, and this is when you reset it. But Mac, do you have anything else?
Let me just touch on this no Mets comment. He said no one expects to win next year.
In the house.
Right? He said no one expects to win there next year. So I just want to say this. A lot of people are saying Denver is going to be a top pick in the draft. So if the Giants were to lose to Denver, right? Because Denver is going to have a top 10 pick. Well, if the Giants are going to stink, why wouldn't they have a top 10 pick? So why wouldn't the Giants pick just be as valuable as Denver's second fictitious pick, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about 2025's next year's pick. And you're telling me that the Giants are going to stink. So then if that's the mindset of, well, Denver can throw in their first this year and their first next year and Patrick Surtain to move up to get somebody in the draft, well, why can't the Giants use 6 and their first round pick next year, which is probably going to be just as valuable as Denver because we don't expect them to have a big season anyways. So if you're looking at the logic like that with Denver, you have to look at that same logic with the Giants if you're thinking that they're not going to have a good season. Because if they do end up with 6 or 7 wins, they're probably going to be a top 10 team. They haven't shown you anything otherwise.
Guess who's coming out of Ohio State at wide receiver? Guess who's coming out of Ohio State at wide receiver next year that we can get in the top 10, guys, and be ready to compete next year because our quarterback been in-house, maybe riding the bench the whole season. Just because us quarterback lovers want a quarterback doesn't necessarily mean we want him destroyed. If he takes Daniel Jones' jobs, I'm fucking happy. But if he rides the bench, it's okay because next year, guys, we have him in-house. We draft a motherfucker out of Ohio State, and we on to the fucking races, ready to compete. Or better yet, maybe we go trade for a CeeDee Lamb or something.
Pettis a lot.
Who knows what could happen? But at least our quarterback is riding the bench because the
quarterbacks
next year, you're casting line. It's not going to be spearfishing next year. You're casting a line no matter where you're at because there's really 2, unless someone magically appears out of nowhere because I'm only counting Sanders and Quinn Ewers. And mind you, if Quinn Ewers has a bad year, he's probably a mock to the second round. So you guys want to tell me, wait till next year. I don't get that point. Continue though, and I want to give a shout out to New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings having an amazing defensive nightmare matchup right now, trying to fight for that last spot in the playoffs. But go right ahead, guys. Let Mac say some few words too. We kind of hogging the mic though. Go right ahead, Matt.
I mean, at this point, there's nothing else to be said, man. Like you guys, I'm 1,000% with y'all, man. Quarterback position needs to be addressed, man. Like,
my bad, man. You've been shopping
just
at. You've been
pass
shopping
up
at
a quarter
fucking
a
Goodwill. That's
QB.
right. Daniel Jones came from Goodwill shelf. It wasn't a new engine off the shelf. Go right ahead.
You don't pass up a QB, and when you have a draft class like this of QBs, like what the fuck? Like this is a draft. You want to look past the quarterback position? All these great young prospects coming out, and we want to talk about what we can get next year. You don't know what the fuck you can get next year. Next year, a lot can happen between now and next year.
Tell them.
A lot can happen. So all these Shedeur Sanders and everybody else talking about for next year, you don't know what the hell might happen. He might fucking get in a car accident, and who knows what can't play football ever again. So who are you going to get? I mean, I'm not wishing obviously nothing like that on these young men. But at the same time, these are the things that can happen.
Maybe he wants to stay in college.
Right now, in front of you, you have six top prospects. Right now in front of you, 6 of them. Now, granted, a couple of them you don't have a shot in hell at getting any damn way, but at the end of the day,
at least 4 of them have a shot.
You have some good, strong prospects to really have an opportunity to get, like you said, Adam, at least 4 of them, you have a legitimate chance. If you can make some things happen, you can make the right things happen to get one of these guys. You just don't know what's going on. You tend to depend on some, these guys next year. People talk about some damn Archie Manning in a few years. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Like, come on.
I will see this. What fast, Mac? Let me answer this.
Come on.
Fast, Mac. I apologize to interrupt you. You know, obviously, dude. Like, honestly, like, I don't know it all. I really don't. But when my feed comes up on YouTube and I'm watching all these videos in 2021 and I'm seeing these quarterbacks like Caleb Williams from Oklahoma coming in down by 3 touchdowns, taking over and winning the game, then super excited when he comes to my year, my school in SC, when I seen Drake May do what your team did with North Carolina and actually, carry that team until he got injured. And then you have other quarterbacks. Obviously, I didn't know all of them because I'm not a genius. I'm not like that. I'm not like that with the sport. Maybe I'm like that with Call of Duty, but maybe not football. I'm not like that. But what I am like is I heard these names being talked about in my circles, in my feeds, in my communities, whether it be maybe not on Twitter that I'm mostly not on, mostly my PlayStation communities. With the boys that I knew for my time. But that being said, guys, I don't know it all. But all I know is next year's quarterback draft ain't as deep, and that's all I'm saying. If you want to call me Nostradamus with Max Holloway and maybe Sean Strickland, I'll make you some money. But other than that, I don't know it all. I just want to clear that up. I love that though. Shout out to Unpopular.
But just look. I've been watching too much incompetence at the quarterback position for this football team for far too long. It's time for some new blood. It's time for something different. I mean, like I said, facts are facts. And you see it league-wide. Just having someone with some it doesn't have to be anybody super great. Just competence at the position. It has an impact on your team. It just does. It's just the truth. Like you said, the good quarterbacks make the players around them better. We have a quarterback that makes the players around him worse. Straight up. He makes the players around him worse. He's taking guys that have been Pro Bowlers and whatever type caliber players and make them look like nothing. Regular average guys. You can feel any way you want about some of these guys. You can think they weren't that good anyway. No. Daniel Jones is the one that's not that good. That's just the point blank in the period. I mean, he's just not good.
All of these guys played better competition in better records of Daniel Jones.
But why waste all the resources? College versus college. Why waste all the resources, all the time, all the 30 visits to get to know these guys and get them on your radar to then pick a receiver? Like, do I need to do all that shit for a receiver? I don't. I really don't. I don't have to do all that stuff. I can spend my time looking at other players in the round. You spent a majority of your time and a majority of your 30 visits. By the way, the top 2 30 visits from the Giants, Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. That's the top 2 visits on the 30 thing. And then it went to 3 receivers in a row. So I'm not trying to take anything from it, but if your top 2 visits are the 2 quarterbacks in your thing, not the 2 receivers, the 2 quarterbacks, come on. You got to be more competent than this. And I don't care what anybody tells me. Fan how you want to fan. Believe how you want to believe. No, you're not. No, you're not Nostradamus. But I don't need it to be Nostradamus to know that the hype around this class is real. The hype around next year's class is not. Now, I will say this. Next year's class may be deeper in 2nd or 3rd round quarterbacks. I don't think it's going to be as high in terms of 1st round quarterbacks. So you might have a larger selection of guys in that draft because guys like Riley Leonard may not grade out to a first. They may be reaches because people are going to reach, but they might grade out not as high as a Caleb Williams.
Rooting for my boy Dylan,
or Jaden Daniels, right? So, like, I like Cam Ward out of Miami. I would have liked
Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon.
My point
watch him rise.
DJ Ogalegi, right, from Oregon State, right?
There you go, yep.
My point is there's a lot of quarterbacks.
Monroe from Alabama might come out too.
Yes, there's what I'm saying. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there, but you can't rely on just saying, "Hey, we're going to be a top 10 team to get there." When you have guys right now who are going to probably be better than you think, and no quarterback prospect is going to be perfect unless you're Andrew Luck. So next year you're going to be dissecting them the same way. Just go get your guy now while you have the shot. Because remember, in 2022, they anticipated not getting a quarterback. They didn't pick up his option because they thought they were going to be bad. They won fucking 9 games and they had to change their whole fucking plan up because they got bamboozled and swindled and hoodwinked by the 15 touchdowns. And they're like, shit, now we got to go to the playoffs. So now we got to bring in Darren Waller and do all this other dumb shit. And then it blew up in their face. And now they have a chance to rebuild. And we want to fucking put it's like having a leaky roof in your house and you fixing a dishwasher. That's what you're doing. You're like, oh, don't worry. I don't need to fix that leaky roof. So stop worrying about reaching.
Absolutely. Just take the best available.
You don't even know what a reach is. Please, come on. I
don't want to reach for nobody.
Daniel Jones was a reach.
Early on, like we said early on, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're a fan of the team. Yeah, we don't get a quarterback at 6. We draft Malik Neighbors. I'm not going to be mad at the kid. I'm going to be looking at his highlights, super excited for Malik Neighbors, watching his shit pumped up, but then still kind of irritated. I'm going to know why he's not a top. I'm going to know why he's not the rookie. If that kid's not the rookie of the year, and we're not sitting here at the end of next year with, let's say they get Malik Neighbors, and he's not rookie of the year, and he doesn't have Puka Nacua stats, I'm going to be pissed off. Because that's what you're trying to get. Because I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Stop it. That's not the point. The point is, if you're going to draft this guy at 6, right, and you're going to tell me that Malik Neighbors is going to change the game for the Giants, this guy better not be inching over the 1,000-yard mark. He better have Puka Nacua numbers. If you're going to tell me that you're going to start Daniel Jones as your quarterback in year 6, he better be the shit. He better be Odell Beckham Jr. And we better fucking look good. But if we don't, and we're sitting here and he gets 1,000 yards and you guys tell me, well, it was because of this or the offensive line, I'm not going to buy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying just get your guy. Get your guy now. Just do it. Absolutely. Love it.
Listen, how did that work out for us in 2019? How did that work out for us in 2019? The best player on the board was Josh Allen. We reached for Daniel Jones, okay, in a not good quarterback class. This quarterback class is good. And I know, and the difference between Josh Allen, the defensive end, and the receivers now is I know for a fact because it's a proven entity in the NFL. I can get a receiver anywhere up and down the receiver. Puka Nacua was a 5th-round pick. So don't tell me I need to go get a receiver right now. When the need meets value. The quarterback is whether you like it or not, is the most valuable position on the field. And so this is why you go up, and that's why you do all these. No one gives up 2 first-round picks for some random-ass fucking guy. Like Will Anderson, you don't do that. You swap a first, maybe a couple second round. You don't do the earth moving to get those guys. You do that for a quarterback because if the guy wins you a Lombardi, you're not going to remember, oh, I didn't get that first round. No, you're not going to care, right? I'm not saying Malik Neighbors is not going to be good. And I think that's where the disconnect is for people.
That kid is really good.
Not good. I think he's going to be decisive. I like Roma Dunze better than him, but that's just me. I think he fits better there in the system, and he's also taller, and I think he is what this Giant team needs if you're going to go for a receiver. If you start Drew Lock. If you start Daniel Jones, it doesn't matter what receiver you put out there. That guy doesn't. It's not in his nature to throw deep. He doesn't have balls. Okay, I want something new at the quarterback position. I want to try it. Give it a chance. Stop being so closed-minded and say, get the best player. Why don't you get the quarterback when you have the chance to get the best of the bunch, right? I can still get a good receiver later on in the draft. I don't know if I can get the same caliber of quarterback that I can of receiver later on in the draft.
You definitely can. All right, guys, we're gonna end the show. We're gonna end the show this way, guys. I do want to point out, like, I'm gonna take my credits. I really take my own flowers, but I'm gonna take my flowers in this one. I said a couple months before this draft ever began, when the Giants was fucking so stupid and losing, beating the Eagles. Yeah, we're beating the Eagles. Yay, that meant something, right, this year for beating the Eagles. That being said, I said there's probably gonna be about 5 quarterbacks taken in this draft in the first round. Now, a lot of people didn't believe me, but as we're nearing closer to the draft, I believe that. I still believe that. As far as neighbors and Rome goes, I do have number 1 receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. all the way at the top as 1A, Malik Neighbors as 1B, and then I do have Rome as a B. And then not as a B, like Rome is an elite, but when it comes to them two, I just like them two way better than I do Rome. And then, of course, you have Brian Thomas, you got Mitchell, and, you got some other cats down there, too. But when you talk about the top 3, you talk about Harrison, you talk about Malik Neighbors, and you talk about, you do talk about Rome. One thing that Rome and Harrison did have is not Harrison. Well, Harrison did have all of them. Actually, all of them had, because Harrison had an Enigma. I started his name. Malik had Brian Thomas, and you guys get the point. They all had weapons on the other side, so they wasn't out there getting double man coverage.
Odell Beckham Jr.
If you double man them, it's impossible. They had good spread offense. It was playing out in college. Amazing college offense. That being said, guys, they're still great wide receivers, and I don't want to take anything away from them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the exercise. I'm gonna run the exercise by myself, and I'm gonna just explain to you guys real fast how we get Drake May. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete all of that, and then we're gonna run the exercise as a group. And then we'll be out of here. Mac, if you want to exercise by yourself, Adam, you guys are more than welcome to do that. But this is what's gonna happen, and I don't hold a crystal ball, but it's just been my point all off season, and I still believe that's gonna happen. I have Caleb Williams going number 1. It's really hard passing that up. We have Jaden Daniels going number 2. That's really hard passing that up. You know what I'm saying? As for the Patriots, they can do one of two things. They can stay here. They can take Marvin Harrison Jr., which would be nice to them. They can take a quarterback if they really love. But I honestly think if they don't love Drake May, I don't think they're really high on J.J. McCourtney. And I also think that they would have wanted Jaden Daniels, because they might be looking at trading down if their guy Jaden Daniels is not available. But regardless of the point, I'm just going to go up to the Giants, guys. So whether it be the Vikings that trade up, or whether it be the Patriots that stay put, I do believe that J.J. McCourtney will be the 3rd quarterback off the board. A lot of people was knocking Drake May. Maybe it doesn't change. Maybe Drake May is the true number 2 quarterback, because in my ranks, I have Caleb Williams number 1, Drake May number 2, Jaden Daniels number 3. But a lot of the times when you look at these teams, they might not like Drake May as much as I do. With the Cardinals being there, I think they go Marvin Harrison. I don't think they trade with the Vikings or the Patriots back in, or any team, because of the fact that I think Marvin Harrison reminds them of a wide receiver that's a legend, a Hall of Famer, and Larry Fitzgerald himself. So they stay there. Guess what? These motherfuckers have nobody on the roster. They just traded away Keenan Allen. They just got rid of Mike Williams. So tell me, why would they go Joe O? These guys are motherfucking taking Malik Neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Give Justin Herbert that true number 1 receiver, because Quentin ain't him. He ain't him. Guess what that leaves us, guys? Now, if motherfuckers want to go take Rome here, I'm not going to argue them. This is America. But it leaves us with Drake May right here. Then if you want to talk about the Titans, you can go with maybe an offensive line. Maybe the Falcons get Dallas Turner, or maybe the Patriots that traded with the Vikings. Maybe the Patriots that's now sitting where the Vikings spot is come back up, and then maybe they take Penix Jr. And maybe the Bears, they take maybe Brock Bowers, or maybe they take Rome. And then the Jets, maybe they take the offensive lineman, or maybe they take a receiver, and then it leads down to these two. Where your Bo Nix might land because Sean Payton somehow falls in love with Bo Nix because he reminds him of Drew Brees, and then you have the Raiders right there that's fighting for the last quarterback if the Vikings didn't go trade up and take Penix. So at the end of the day, there's no reality where the quarterbacks, the top six, is going to make it out. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because of the fact that you know who's going to be there in the second round is a quarterback that is like, I'm sorry, but I just don't believe in as highly as I do of these top six. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to restart this thing, confirm my progress, and I'm just going to have the boys chime in. Mac, if you want to go solo, Adam, if you want to go solo. If not, you guys can do one together. But that's how I have us getting Drake May. Anything could happen. That's without trading, guys. That's without trading. But go right ahead, boys. You guys want to take over? Let me know who you guys want me to control and shit like that.
I think well, Caleb is number one as a lock. Jaden Daniels could be two. Drake May could be two. Either way, you're getting the runoff of those guys. At number three, I think the Patriots are either going to trade. I don't think they're going to trade down with Minnesota. You don't go from 3 to 11. I'm sorry, you just don't. Even if you're getting 2 picks, I just don't see them saying, okay, well, I can get it. They're not going to get the same caliber lineman either. Like those guys are probably going to be swallowed up as well. So I think they probably trade with the Giants or stand pat and take quarterback. In which case, I think Arizona is not going to pass. I don't think Arizona is going to drop down. They're not going to get the same haul they would get if they would drop down to 6. That's why I think the Giants, again, and this caveat just came to my brain right now, because everyone's saying the Giants are going to be bad. I'm going to use the same logic that everyone's using for the Denver Broncos, saying who, by the way, finished 12th. All right, they finished 6 spots better than us. So I don't know what that means for them, what they're going to do or how they're going to win games. I don't know. They may pick up a quarterback at some point, Bo Nix, Penix Jr., whomever. I don't know who's on their roster. But you're going to tell me that their picks are more valuable than ours? I don't think so. So not only do the Giants have 6, they have the allure of, well, you're going to have a rookie quarterback and you have Daniel Jones and Drew Luck and Tommy DeVito. Those aren't like game-changing quarterbacks. So I'll take your 2025 pick. So I think the Giants are going to – I think they're going to stay – I think it's going to stay chalk, really. But I think then L.A. – I don't think L.A. is going to drop down either. Malik Neighbors can come in and be their number one and be a different receiver than the other guy they just drafted last year. And so now you have some weaponry. Or they take Joe Elton and go smash mouth football or another lineman. I just think sometimes people want to get in the heads of themselves. Well, Minnesota's going to move up. They're going to aggressively move up. Minnesota doesn't have a second-round pick in this year's draft. They have 2 firsts, and then they have the next pick is 108.
This because it's like we're not doing anything, so I'm just gonna move this. That would never happen. But I want to do this exercise because a lot of wide receiver fans want this to happen. They want this to happen right here. So this is what they want to happen.
I think the Giants are going Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. That's what I believe they're going to do. That's what I think they're going to do. After listening to the press conference, after reading tea leaves, I'm 100% believing they're coming away with a quarterback. I just don't believe that they're that. If Joe Shane is that naive to do that, then he's not. He doesn't deserve to be here. He comes here to change. You need to get your legacy in here. I don't care if the guy in front of you has a year to go or whatever. Get your guy in here. They fit the system. I also think Michael Penix Jr. is in play. I know a lot of people aren't talking about that. He could possibly slip. I don't see him slipping past the Raiders because I think the Raiders would eat him up. I think they would absolutely love him. I think Minnesota might be in play for Michael Penix Jr., to be honest with you. But anyways, Mac, you go ahead. I've said enough.
I don't. We just come across this thing, figure this thing out, man. Obviously, I feel like I'm taking Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels off the board. I think those are the 2 out of the 6 that Giants don't have any chance in hell at getting. So I feel like you take them off the board. They almost don't even count at this point. I think the Giants have absolutely no chance at landing either one of those. I think that's foregone conclusion. That's 1 and 2 in the draft, this upcoming draft, is those 2 young men. as far as the Patriots, man, Patriots are such a wild card, man. That they kind of hold the key to this whole thing right now. I think the Patriots do because clearly I feel like the Cardinals and the Chargers are going to definitely address that receiver position big time. I mean, Chargers keeping Justin Herbert there. Obviously, they've done a house cleaning, but they got rid of both their number one and number two receiver in the same offseason. I mean, which kind of teams do that? But they still have their franchise quarterback there, so they're going to immediately want to get some weapons back in there for him. So that's a foregone conclusion. They're coming away with one of those top receivers, the Chargers, and that I feel like the Giants, that should leave the Giants' choice between Drake May or JJ McCarthy at number 6. And you can't be scared. You can't be listening to what people are talking about. You just got to go out there and you got to make it happen. You got to get it because the quarterback position has been absolutely atrocious, man. And yeah, right there, if that happens, I mean, I'm good with that right there because a change has to come, man. It has to. You can't shy away from this. Everybody always talks about how important the QB position is. Well, then why are we acting as if it's unimportant? As a fan base, we're acting as if it doesn't matter. Oh, we just get another receiver and have it happen while we still got these bum ass quarterbacks that can't get the ball to them. Come on,
man. If we had a quarterback here,
what good is it going to be?
All about neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely. But what difference is making you have Malik Neighbors if you got a QB that's going to be scared to throw the ball down the field to him?
If we're the LA Chargers, I'd take Neighbors. I'd be like, yo, let's take Roman Dunze or Neighbors if we're the LA Chargers, right? Because we already know we have our guy. There's no doubt about it. We know that he might be here next year, right? And the reason why I say that, I'll defend my point. If Joe Schoen decides not to take a quarterback in the first 2 days of the draft, and you roll with Tommy DeVito and Jones and Locke, you deserve to be fired. That's a stupid move to make in this franchise. Why would I want to give you a 4th year to do this? To now pick the quarterback? Because guess what? If they have a bad season, Brian Daboll's ass is probably out of here. Okay? Joe Schoen is probably on the hot seat. So that guy now has to what? Pick a quarterback for another coach who doesn't know if his GM's on the hot seat. So now we're rebuilding again. So why not get the guy when you have the chance to get a guy and do it now and then worry about next year. Don't try to say, well, let's not shop in the high end. Let's not go to Saks Fifth Avenue to get our fucking, stuff. Let's go to Walmart and do it. Like I said, it's like you want to fucking change the dishwasher when you have a leaky roof. The roof is going to cave in on you, and you're going to be like, why didn't I address this sooner? Or even better, you have a crack in the foundation, and you want to fucking put new windows up. Like what? What are you talking about? Change the foundation. And somebody said it best. You take the quarterback, and everything else will fall into place. It will, and I believe that. And if you believe in Joe Schoen being a smart guy and making the right decision. Well, the right decision is what it is. Get your quarterback, make it a rebuild. That's what people are forgetting. This is a rebuild. You rebuild from the base. And the base is we haven't had a quarterback that's been good for 6 years. Why not take your swing on one with Brian Daboll, who you brought here to work with quarterbacks?
Facts. Rather trade up with the Patriots to get Drake May.
You got to do something there. It needs to be addressed, and this is the class. This is the draft year to address it. Clearly, with the talent that's out there, this kind of talent doesn't just come out every single year. You don't get this. You don't get this kind of talent at the quarterback position every year. This is one of those great quarterback classes, at least on paper. You're right. They could all fail. They could all be great. Who knows? They could just all be average guys, end up being average guys. Right. But as far as what we know right now, as prospects, this is a great quarterback class, a great class of prospects. And why is this? Do we want to even potentially pass up one of these guys?
3 years. What are you talking about? Unpopular? Like, I'm not going to give him 6 years if he sucks. If the guy is struggling out the gate, I give him his requisite time. And if he's showing me stuff, then yeah, I'm going to keep him. If he's getting me to the playoffs, yeah, I'm going to keep him.
We need a cornerback.
If I'm still waiting after 6 years, questioning him, I don't want to be waiting 6 years. I'm going to give the guy his time, 3 years, to develop. After the third year, if I still see the same fucking problems, I'm going to be banging the table for that guy to leave too, if I don't feel that he's the guy. So yes, I will have that same opinion that I have now. So don't try to change this up and act like Daniel Jones hasn't had time. Who, you talking about the GM or the quarterback? I don't care if he gets. I'm not in love with Drake May, Daniel McCarthy either way. I'm in love with all 5 of these quarterbacks. He gets me Penix Jr., I'm fine with that. He gets me Bo Nix, I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with rolling with Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Daniel Jones. I'm not fine with that. And if he wants to do that, there should be a penalty at the end for stupidity. Exactly. That's a stupid move. You do all this great stuff. You get Brian Burns, you get the fucking line, and now you're going to, in the most important position, that's what you're going to tell me, oh, I'm okay with it? Come on. That's just gross.
Look at the few great players we got on team. I think Alex set it up in the chat earlier, if I remember right. And like you said, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Andrew Thomas, we got Brian Burns. These are great players. These are guys that are in the upper echelon of their positional groups. These are great, phenomenal talents, and we're just going to continue to waste the greatness that they bring to this team because we got a quarterback that just can't get it done. The defense last year did so many great things in so many different random games, and it was games where just the offense just couldn't do a damn thing because they were pathetic. And it starts at the quarterback position there, man. It was just absolutely horrendous. You have to want to just upgrade that and change, or at least attempt to upgrade it. You make a real attempt to upgrade it. You can't just tie your hands behind your back and act like, oh, we're going to take this guy because he's just overall maybe a better prospect on paper now. The quarterback position is what needs to be addressed big time with this football team. That's what needs to be addressed.
And all I'm saying is this. Why, when you think of it logically, and you think logic, what is the least resourced position the Giants have put draft capital in the last 6 years? It's the quarterback position. They could have get Hendon Hooker last year. They could have even drafted Malik Willis and had him in the pipeline. And maybe I'm not as enamored with getting a quarterback this year because I have somebody that's a young guy that I can say, you know what, let him try it out. He's on the team. Let's give it a shot. And then if you have neighbors there, whatever. We don't have anybody that even gives me hope in there. So one, I think they're going to come away with a quarterback regardless. And if you're going to come away with a quarterback, you might as well try to get one of the best ones in there while you have a chance and you're in that position. Because again, the Giants, somebody just said it up top before, they don't try to tank. So they're not trying to be the first overall pick. And if the Giants aren't in the top 2 or 3 in the draft next year, they're going to have to give up a haul, which everyone talks about, to get a quarterback next year. So you might as well give up that haul now and fill in the blanks next year when the free agency pool goes up and your money goes up. You can actually build your team through free agency a little bit, and then you can get some draft capital because you'll have compensation for, comp picks, and maybe you trade some players if you are having a bad season next year because you're going to rebuild and change the roster. But if you have a quarterback in here, it gives you hope. And all I want is hope. Right now, I like Brian Burns, but I'm like, man, that guy's going to have 15 sacks and he's going to be on a fucking 6-win team.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this real fast before we end the show. This will probably never happen. This will probably never happen. But what if there's some Malik Neighbors at 6, Probably will never happen that Michael falls, but Michael does fall to the second. I know a lot of Giants fans, that's receiving fans, will love this.
If that happens, that's fine. I think they want to address both positions. I think
that's just to clear up your point because if Joe Shane comes out with 0 quarterback, if he takes Spencer Rattler later on, I think Adam's point is 0 quarterbacks. At least
I'm talking about 0 of the top 6 or 7. They're like Spencer Rattler has some talent. Does he great? No, but at least you could say you got something in here to be a bridge. Will that guy be on the team next year? I don't know, but I'm just saying. MJ over McCarthy, you'll call him for be fired. That's why you sound crazy. If you want a QB, then cool. I'm not taking anybody though. That's horseshit. Like the thing is, what you don't understand is you're looking at it like any quarterback. I'm looking at Brian. See, this is the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what Brian Dable did with 3 quarterbacks. And I know that all the quarterbacks that I talk about are a lot more talented than Daniel Jones, and that's a fact. And a lot, and 4 of these quarterbacks can play in this system. That's a fact. Dayton Daniels, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy are all better than DJ, and all can play in this system around Brian Dable. And I think Brian Dable can get the best out of them. That's why I'm excited about it. So don't tell me you guys are haphazard about any fucking receiver. Oh, I don't care if I get Harrison or Dunze and Neighbors. But then when I say quarterback, you're like, oh, the 4th best quarterback. Why? Because somebody ranked that guy the 4th best quarterback? How about if J.J. McCarthy's in next year's draft, he ends up being quarterback 1? Someone said that. What if next year he's quarterback 1 next year?
I mean, like, because Chef played way better teams than Sanders did. I think Sanders is a great quarterback, but look at the skill level of competition.
And these guys process better. These guys are better players than what we got. I think that's the fallback plan, is 2nd or 3rd round. And if they can get a Bo Nix. But to me, that shouldn't be plan A. Plan A should be, I'm getting Drake May, I'm getting J.J. McCarthy, I'm getting Michael Penix, or I'm getting Jaden Daniels. That should be number 1. I don't want to hear about fucking Denver. I don't want to hear about Minnesota. I don't want to hear about all that bullshit, because all the fucking logic that everyone gives me is the same fucking logic I'm playing to the Giants. If you think Denver's 2025 pick is going to be top 10, we might be fucking top 10. So there, we got the 6th pick and our pick next year. What? I'll even throw in fucking Darius Slayton or Azeez Ojulari. I don't care. What do you want? I need to get my guy to change his franchise around. We did that for fucking Eli Manning, and look what it did. That's all I'm going to say. I'm out.
I'm going to say this before I give the mic to Matt.
Here's the thing, real quick. Here's the thing, real fast. Because this is the NFL draft. And it's a finicky fucking thing. And we've all seen drafts over the years, and we know how this shit works. We got these 6 quarterbacks we've been all talking about. Okay, we all know who they are. You got a couple of them that people seem to think, Penix Jr., Bo Nix, think they're going to slip to the 2nd round, go to the 2nd round. And this is the NFL draft. Once these guys start going down the board a little bit, and maybe it get later in the 1st round, you think there's not going to be teams that's going to say, "Ooh, let me get up in here and get and slide up in here and pick number 20, whatever." Or pick number 30 and grab this guy now. That's the shit that happens in the NFL draft. Everybody talking about, oh, we get the receiver and then we'll just get Bo Nix in the 2nd round or get Michael Penix in the 2nd. Look, man, I'm not trying to roll the dice on that. I know a QB just needs to be addressed. We need to get that guy. And preferably get the guy at number 6 or whatever. If we got to trade up a couple spots, whatever we got to do, but you can't just go ahead and roll the dice on what you think could possibly happen. You can't. It's not, and it's not necessarily about selling your soul, man. Because this team is absolutely terrible. This team has been absolutely terrible, and particularly at that position. Like, how are we trying to avoid addressing it properly when you have a chance to address it properly? Like, you can legitimately get a stud prospect in here, and it might not work out. That's the shit that happens. That's what you got to live with if it comes down to that. But as far as what we know right now, what we think we know right now, these guys are legitimate prospects, man. And they're not. And this is not the kind of quarterback class that just grows on trees. This is a legit class like the Eli Manning year when Big Ben and Eli and Phillip Rivers and those guys. And hell, go back I'll take it back all the way to 83 with Dan Marino and Jim Kelly and all of those guys and that kind of quarterback class. That's the kind of quarterback class we got right now as far as prospects. You know what I mean? That's what we're looking at right now. And we're looking to and you want to talk about potentially like passing something like that up. One of these guys up. I mean, it's just we can't do things like that, man. That's incompetence, period. The QB position has been a problem for this New York Giants team, and it's holding this team back. It's holding the team back. Look, we might not have the greatest receiving core or the greatest of other players on offensively, but we damn sure ain't got a good quarterback. We got some at least all right receivers. We have a bad quarterback room, a terrible quarterback room. And if you get at least a competent guy in there, it can bring a little something more out of the receivers that we do have. And like we've been saying, you're not going to convince me like as if you can't get an absolute stud receiver day 2 or even day 3 in this draft, because that's the talent at receiver that's in this draft. You can get stud guys day 2, day 3. I don't feel the same way about the quarterback position. I just don't. I think after night 1, you're really rolling the dice at this point. You may be rolling the dice after night 1. So
yeah,
I say get the guy while you got a chance to.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get the guy while you have a chance. And, obviously, yes, not all 6 are going to hit, but at the end of the day, we took shots on so much other positions. We took shots on offensive line. We took shots at receivers. KG didn't work out, Kenny Galladay didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like Kadarius Toney didn't work out. I don't know why I said Kenny Galladay twice. Both of them didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Darren Waller didn't work out. That's a tight end, but he still was brought in to be the number 1 ripping for Daniel Jones. That didn't work out. And then it's also too, it's like before I hear this talk about like Jamar Chase and all these special quarterbacks and all the receivers they have, right? But at the end of the day, like T. Higgins, before Chase was there, T. Higgins didn't save Zach Taylor's job. When Zach Taylor won 3 games as an NFL head coach, when Cincinnati was looking to fire Zach Taylor. You know who saved Zach Taylor's job? Joe Burrow. That's who saved Zach Taylor's job. And then, yes, the next year, who did they bring in? Chase. I could say the same thing that happened in Buffalo. And, like I said, I'm going to say it again because it needs to be heard. Buffalo fans, Ravens fans, they're not sad that they're in the playoffs every single year because they know they got their guy. Cincinnati fans know they got their guy. Everybody wants to talk shit about Justin Herbert. Watch him now with the actual head coach. I don't think it was him. I honestly think it was the head coach, but that guy still put up 5,000 yards, something that Daniel Jones would ever wish of doing. But yet he had all these receivers, right? That's his excuse. All I hear is Keenan Allen was an injured receiver throughout his term with the Chargers, and Mike Williams was injured as well. Go look at that. It's not like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen started all games. So let's get real. Justin Herbert is him, and he's about to show you guys why he's him. I don't think Jacksonville is mad getting rid of Blake Bortles. Still have way better numbers in his first 5 seasons, 5,000 more yards than Daniel Jones in his first 5 seasons, but he got sacked 30 more times than Daniel Jones. So obviously he had a bad line, but he was to make it happen. But hold up. When Blake Bortles was on the Jacksonville Jaguars, they had offensive rippings, right? Holy shit, they had household names, right? No, they did not. It was the defense that got them to that damn championship game. That's why Jacksonville identified their quarterback and got rid of him. 17,000 yards after 5 seasons, right? More touchdowns than Daniel Jones after 5 seasons, right? And I can go on and on and on and on and keep on making these points. But then again, there's only one position that we didn't address over the last 10 years. And if we did, we only addressed it one time. When we spent all this time getting offensive lineman, all this time getting rippings, all this time getting running backs. Where the fuck are they? Where's OBJ, guys? Where's Saquon Barkley? He signed with the ops, bros. He signed with the ops. So at the end of the day, I don't understand why people still want to cast line and go fishing next year. Go fishing in round 2 and 3. Go fishing. You know how hard it is to catch a fish? You guys ever been tuna fishing? You guys ever casted lines for a moorland and try to get one? They're fucking tough as fuck. That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be out there fucking fighting for your life trying to catch a fucking fish, okay? But when you're in the fucking water and you can just spill gun one right now, but yet don't go quarterback because that doesn't need to be addressed until next year when Daniel Jones is off the books because we're not paying him $40 million, but yet you want to dangle Daniel Jones because he's your guy's kid. You guys want to give him one final chance, but yet he robbed you from $40 million. He slapped you. He backhand Giants fans. He backhand Giants fans out of fucking $40 million, but yet Giants fans still want to stand up for the guys. I can't. that show has to end that way of Daniel Jones bitch slapping these Giants fans and them still wanting him. Go right ahead, Mac, end this out.
Yeah, I want to thank all y'all for tuning in once again to another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Myself, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, man, bringing that heat to you once again on this Friday night. Next Friday, we'll be into the second and third round of the NFL draft. So, just like I said, once again, just appreciate y'all coming through, hanging out with us, man. No mess, no nets, no jets. Hanging out with us throughout the whole entire show, man. Yeah. Unpopular Opinion Sports. Make sure y'all go show it to my guy, Unpopular Opinion. Absolutely. Dropping them videos, doing his thing, man. Check him out on Sunday with that New York Giants conversation. Check him out on Tuesday with that Heart of the City, man. Bringing that heat to y'all, man. And definitely appreciate Alex, man, coming through, hanging out, man, for a little bit. Definitely go show up to my guy, Alex Pitbull, Bronx, man, Miz.
Leon to Daniel.
All you guys, man, definitely appreciate y'all. Next week it gets real, man. A lot of young men's lives is going to change for the better. Hopefully, we'll see who the New York Giants go out there and grab with number 6 overall pick, man. We'll see who they go out there and grab. I know this panel right here, the Horsemen, we all share our sentiment and wanting that quarterback position addressed. We got a lot of guys that just want the best player available, like Adam said earlier. You fan how you want to fan. I'm not telling you that. I'm not trying to tell you what opinion you should have. By no means. I'm just expressing mine, and I feel like that QB position needs to be addressed. Man, throw them 4s up for our guy, NYG, Jeffy T, man. Still always here with us in spirit, man. Throw them 4s up, man. And we'll see y'all next week for another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. This is me, Mac the Giants fan. That's Zion Zenith, and that's Adam Costas, man.